No sound? How the fuck? Hmm. Hmm. 1 minute. I'm trying to fix the sound, but it's not working. I don't know why it's like not getting audio. Hmm. I guess we have no audio, unfortunately. Can't really seem to fix it. Chat, if you have idea on how to fix OBS not picking up the audio, please let me know.
Have to go a little bit further here. Getting across to the next building, like I said, the problem with Ferry Pier is the wide gaps that happen
I
between
think
the
this should
buildings
be
and the amount
good.
of
Let me
terrain
know.
that you have to pass through. Kapahala
I
picks
think I
up the
just
slack.
fixed
They
it.
were missing him on that last game, but provides a little bit of support here. on her angle. That nade's going to be nasty though. Kazakh also
Good
getting
note, Art.
involved.
Thanks.
And Mad Bulls remain at 4.
Great.
That's true.
Let me
Actually,
know
the
if I
objective
should
does go down,
increase or
but
decrease the
actually,
caster sound.
Next Ruya in this bunker position. I mean, they have been here for quite a while. Malise are now having to push in from the west side. The teams around Ferry Pier unlikely to push out, but they will have sight lines over this way. So next Ruya just needing to keep their heads down. This is a prediction coming through from
Okay,
Max.
where's
So
my face cam?
he might be on the money with this one. That bunker position gives a lot of cover from teams trying to peek you.
Okay, here's face cam.
yeah, it's good. I mean, for Mad Bulls in particular,
Increase
this is
a
where
little?
things start to get a
Okay.
little bit more tricky. They really do now have to deal with
This
Kazakh
should
team,
be
who have
good.
played a pretty decent game, honestly, from that northern edge. It's not easy getting down
This
from
is my
that
first
tree
time
line
doing a
towards
viewer
this
party.
position. But they
When
managed
I
to do
watch
it.
these tournaments
Tenshik,
myself, I
one of their
usually
more
just
aggressive
talk with our
players on the
coach
team, will be sending grenades
to
out
discuss
over
stuff.
towards Mad Bulls now, hoping to get a pick off.
But I guess I could share
We
my
haven't spoken
opinion.
about them a lot. We said a little bit earlier it was awkward, their position, but Galatasaray on Ferry Pier, on the west line, they've got a pretty decent set of cover from a lot of these teams looking to try and hold from the main settlements. And they have
Next
a chance
year
to
it's
push
still
in
stuck.
and stop anyone from moving out. It's actually not a terrible position for them, but they're going to really
If this
struggle
guy
once
has
they
like
have to regroup
2
along this pier.
smokes, he
You
can
see just
smoke
the
out
openness
grenades.
of that aggression.
Unfortunately
Poser
for him.
spotted in the meantime, and that actually comes from Graxi across the way.
The guy could have killed
Graxi.
Alf next Rio just by throwing nades if he had a
Getting
smoke.
a decent shot in. Mad Bulls, though, knows a lot of players on the outside edge. Zerich has to go big mode now. Looks out the doorway to Sheeper. Hits a good shot over towards him. But he'll still continue to peek off the back of it. Maybe looks for a flush, gets some more information through, but Tulika unable to support now. Fleeke hits a healing, requests a little bit more damage coming through from Zerich, provides them more time. 2 players down for Kazakh, but the same could be saved for
GG
Mad
can do
Bulls.
it? I don't think
And just
so.
reflect, left remaining.
Tulika keeping his hopes up there, and Zerich steps out for a spray
I need
down.
to see the
Kazakh
scores.
team dispatched. They
I
could
just
not push
started
it on
watching.
the north. Tulika can
I
get raised up
missed
again, and
the
the Mad Bulls with
first
6
few games, I
have
think.
got a brilliant position. Next, Ruya
Yeah, I
finally going
missed
to
the
have to
first 2
leave.
games.
That was a fantastic play from Zerich as well. The quick
How
sidestep
did GG do
on the initial spray
with the
into
first
the
2?
next just caught reflect lacking. In the meantime, though, Matic, 5th place in terms of placements. It's not bad, and he's crawling his way in. There's plenty of 2-player, 1-player teams remaining here in this lobby that he could maybe steal a
GS
couple
has a
more
really good
points
zone
away
control.
from. There is potential. Wonder if he's got any
This
nades
guy
left remaining
we're
as well,
watching
because
right
next
here
Ruya's position
can
easily
pretty much cover
nadeable, but
everything.
it would reveal his spot.
At this point, I would say that Galatasaray might have the best time of it, but Gladiator's run is drawn to a close. Next, Ruya, you're going to have to
Perfect.
figure out how to move. But Lovazin has such a dominant angle over towards this area. Kisyu getting pushed in by the blue zone, having to dip up for a little bit of breath, and will not be able to go any further there for Malise. A real tough time for them. They had a really good spot, but the shifts just didn't go their way. And now Galatasaray can move up the west side of this pier. And what a shot from Yekta to find Zerich.
Mate, this guy's flying in. Micro Uzi all over the place. Leaving Mad Bulls feeling fairly glum. They're going to have to get that little hoof, stick it on the chin, think about that one, try and get themselves back into this game just a little bit. And Galatasaray takes that as the sounding signal of the start of the race here, with the circle moving down towards
This should be an
them.
easy win
From
for
Perry
GS.
Pier himself, is
Nothing
Galatasaray
should
going to
go
win
wrong.
this game?
Yeah, that little brown fedora on the top of it.
Unless
Perry
next
Pier.
Rio pushes them to get
Now, what
multiple
a
knocks.
finish it would
Matt
be for
goes to the party.
Galatasaray to be able to take this one home. I mean, we've
That's the
seen
only
now,
concern
we saw
for
Chaos
GS.
take a chicken dinner, and Galatasaray in a position where they could very much do the same. The teams at the bottom of these tables, Blank, starting to come alive.
I didn't even know
in
there's
the
a warehouse
final
right here.
moments of this tournament, but it is too little too late. It's more important for the Mad Bulls getting points here. Next, Ruya able to accrue a lot of points, but they're already fairly firm at the top of these tables, and at this point, I feel like they've done enough. BRA not able to get any points this match. The fact that next Ruya have 2 points, they're going to be able to
I
get
actually
8
have
points
no idea
probably,
there are 2 warehouses here.
established on this match. That
Mad
top spot on the
Bulls.
tables.
This is essentially about supporting their EU brethren within this region, right? If they can secure their spot in the top 5, they're allowing teams
Like
that
the
are pretty
problem for
close towards
GS
that
is
top
next
7,
Rio
right,
will
to
eventually
potentially
push them.
get in.
They'll
Obviously,
kill
with
next
S2G
Surya
playing the way
easily,
they are
but
right now,
if
it
next
would be
Surya managed to
Ozrox
knock one
taking
of
that
them,
7th place position. But
Mad
Mad
Bulls will
have to
slip
hang
harder.
on to this in the
But even then,
eventuality
it's gonna be
that
hard
that
because
spot
Mad Bulls has
opens
to
up
run
for
across the
EU.
open.
So right now, Mad Bulls playing for glory. They're playing for prize money, but they're also playing for the rest of their teammates in their region. And by God, do they have to play it hard. Without Zerich left remaining on the team, the
It's
MVP
been
from
here for like one
PMPL
or two
EU,
splits.
Fleek,
Yeah.
Frozen, Tulika,
It's
all
been
have
here
to
since
stand
they
up
changed the
versus this
Erangel.
hellish squad
Oh,
of next
what?
Ruya, but Tulika
Wow.
with the double over towards the rocks leaves them looking unsteady.
Standing tall indeed.
In my mind, the Erangel map is still like the
As
same
Red
as
Bull
Skin
tries
for
to
Tease,
cross
the Chinese
over
version.
towards Symphony, and they hold the
Chinese
middle
version
position
still
here,
has
but
the old
Graxi
Erangel.
has the backline. A really solid spread right now for Galatasaray, but the Mad Bulls are still here, and they are still in the match. Frozen
Yeah.
over towards that ferry pier, the closest to the angle. They're going to be worried about this high ground. You could see the repositions coming on through for Galatasaray. They
Technically,
know that the Mad
GS
Bulls
has
are
more
trapped
zone.
here. They
If
know
the circle
the
centers
line
up,
that they have
Mad
to
Bulls
take.
has to push in
Lovazin
the open
given
first.
the opportunity to
But
swim
this
back
is
to the
also a
rest of the
game
team.
that
But
depends on who
Frozen
has more
the
util, like
MG3,
smokes and
has
grenades.
got that position. If he hops up, if he gets a good side swipe
I
across
don't
this
think
ferry
any
pier,
side has a lot of util.
he might be able to find something. He might be able to do it for the Mad Bulls.
A naughty angle Frozen currently got, but there's a nade coming over the top side. It bursts too early, but he's got two more in the back pocket. Frozen holds the angle. Another, yet
They should
again.
save their
Too
nades
close, too far.
until Bullzone
His
forces Mad
third
Bulls
time
out.
the charm.
These nades
I
are
don't know
basically
which side the
useless because even
circle
if you knock
centers
one, are you
up
gonna
on, but I
push?
feel
No.
like it's towards the
You're gonna
Galatasaray
get
side,
instant res.
which will favor them microscopically in these moments to come, but Symphony takes too much damage there.
Wait.
Has to use some of that healing, has to
Hold up.
expend some of that utility. The Mad Bulls maybe looking to summit
Wait.
there. The MG3
They
has
have
been
nowhere else
unleashed.
to
That's
play.
what did the majority of the
Hold
damage over
up.
to Symphony. 12 eliminations already for Galatasaray. They've been picking people off
Oh,
for a
no.
long time, but they're grouped up. Could a nade from the Mad Bulls find a cheeky little triple over the top?
Oh no, that's a
Graxi.
Mad Bulls win.
Oh, they have the
Moving on in.
advantage. This was so smart from the Mad Bulls to completely take control over this area.
Wow.
Players now slow because it's going to
I
force
thought
them out into
GS
the
left the guy
water.
further back.
This has been a perfect
south
guard
side.
out from them. I'm surprised I didn't see this one coming sooner.
Aw. GG.
And into the water they go,
Yeah, GG.
forced to
Mad
dip
Bulls
their
win.
toes. And it's more than water they'll find, it's a hail of bullets flying on through. The DBS unleashing
Wait,
its power, but
seriously?
Lovazin answers from the depths. Digs deep
No.
and finds the knock onto Frozen.
No.
There's the blue zone taking its toll, and the blue zone will
GG
continue to
Miracle or
close, but the
Magic,
spray down
yeah.
is there. They just need to find one more. Symphony is in the water, and they are opening
to
the
farm.
cannons now from that top rope, from that top bar. Graxi goes down next. Tulika just needs to stay alive, just needs to heal a little bit more, but they're stepping out. If Fleek drops
Can they
down
not
and
shoot
Symphony
this
has
guy?
the stims to go for it, they might
Can
go
they
down.
just stand on
but the
top
Mad
of this
Bulls are
railing
in the
and then
middle.
shoot this
Let
guy?
Fleek live. Symphony falls, and it is Mad Bulls
Wow.
to be able to take
Congrats.
the chicken dinner.
Lacking. In the meantime, though, Matic, 5th place in terms of placements. It's not lacking.
Let me see scores.
Top on the east of Quarry. Madcap, Slay, both in a position to challenge Frozen, but they've already lost.
Could have got more points from this game, right?
I agree.
In
Oh,
theory, they could
wow.
have, but yeah, third is
Next
extremely
Surya up
respectable
top?
right now. If they were able to kind of continue down the warpath, maybe they could catch up with BR.
Yeah.
like early engagements and
Nah,
just play
GG
for
is
the
not
play
making this.
is that you're kind of comfortable where you are
Nah,
because
they're not making
again
it.
with
Against that
There's
game.
no way.
But the holdout over towards the rocky edge is just so well
One
played.
nade could have
I've got-
changed
I've
it.
got-
Well,
They're already fairly
in my
points, probably,
opinion,
it's- and at this
hold up.
about top eventually getting 7th place spot opening for MVP from P. And by God,
Let me pull up the drawing. Hi, Wachu. What's up? In my opinion, this GS player should smoke and go peek over. If they realize all of this is water, they should peek over a long time ago. They probably made the same mistake as me watching from spectators that they think zone will go to them first, but in reality, no. Like, I don't think this guy holding back should ever group up as a team. He should keep holding back. Try to go behind them, maybe.
I am. Where do we begin? They had it in the back. I've never. All right. Firstly, I've never ever seen a ferry pier ending, and then Galatasaray was there the whole game. All right.
You know, last year in
Which side
China,
the
we had a
circle
zone
centers
that
up
ended on
blank.
the
It
corner
feels
of
like
this
it's
pier.
towards the
That was one
Galatasaray
of the
side,
weirdest zones we have ever
which
seen.
will
Like, how are they to get away from Pier?
Well, they
And then the circle comes to them.
Like, our freest to wins.
they got to a late game.
Yeah, that is true. That is the farthest
There they
they've
are.
got in a match.
I'll put my glasses back on so I can read.
Lovison and Graxi able to get themselves to 12 eliminations. Room unfortunately going down early before they did swim over to the pier.
But yeah, it's the bottom of the leaderboards day. We got a chaos win. We
Watch
got
back on the
really hard
past
for
games
Gladiator.
because I missed them.
said than done. Formed toward there. Was very tough, and that specific rotation,
PMR
you know,
today.
why was the chaos there? So this late resurgence team a lot, but it just shows see in a moment. Gate the volley for the Gladiator way more valuable. The circle shifts a little bit further north, keeps Picardo in, keeps the north side of Los Leones. We're playing in
Not getting the same safer zones, safer waters. Kanina Packer, but a fairly decent result regardless, considering the circle. And that'll keep them pretty happy. Mariz Esports,
That's a
obviously you just
sneaky
saw
rat
it
spot.
there between the games. Get themselves a
Oh,
5th
he
place
left.
right now. Really, really good stuff.
into close order. That might just be enough to
2G.
400, 500 meters from the
Obviously an edge team at their core. Get down.
them are holding, as well as east.
Good compound, but you have to be certain the circle's ending up around that area before you try and take it, because leaving it is very difficult. Nice initial nade there coming through from Gladiators. Meku does go low, but
So
starts off
basically,
well.
Tixie skipped the guy on first floor.
As
when he's
long as the
pushing this.
Gladiators check their buildings,
I don't
check
think
their
GG
angles,
knows
'cause
there's a guy
Tixie
behind
has
them.
a player underneath
Wow.
him that I don't know if he's spotted. Kakali
That's a
could
sneaky
be
spot.
a danger here if Tixie is caught unawares. I feel like he doesn't realize there's a player this close, but Kakali doesn't move. So as soon as he takes those footsteps, hopefully Tixie is able to get that catch, see if he can keep his wits about him. Meanwhile, Demuerte taking Mad Bulls on in a fight, and it's not going well. Demuerte, this is the first knock that they've suffered, so they should be
The
alright.
idea GG has is very good. They have Matic
on
on the west as offing
that did all that damage to him.
to watch the crossings,
Kakali yet
and
to
they can
strike.
use Matic's offing to push.
Yeah, if this is another case,
But I don't know if the BRA guy
Gladiators
behind them
going
is gonna
down
screw them
to
over.
just not checking every single building. Be very unfortunate. Tixie
Oh
right
my.
now drops
Oh,
out.
he
There's
almost
some
got turned
good
on.
shots, but likely to be flushed away here. The
He
rest of the
almost
team
got
hasn't
turned on,
responded
wow.
as of yet. Kakali almost goes down
And
too.
GG left.
So for the Gladiators, for Tixie, there's some awesome reactions from him. Again, Kakali just had the drop on him, or at least Tixie did, but
Screw
didn't go.
this.
Devil's advocate for a second. I get why Galatasaray wanted to move towards the beach.
Too earlier.
Yeah.
Desmo problematic. That control on the beach, because they're expecting the circle to
Yeah.
conclude on the beach. Because they're expecting the circle to
Yeah.
kind of conclude, not the circle to conclude there, but the fight to eventually conclude there for them to have control of it. But that's not to be the case.
Also, when you're thinking about it, we were also thinking that the center was on the beach side, not on the pier itself. I think if they understood that,
Initially, yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
they would have changed the approach.
Eventually conclude there.
That's
for
an
them to have
interesting
control
way
of it,
to
but that's
hold
not
these
to be the
stairs.
case.
Also, when you're thinking about it, we were also thinking that
You
the
back
center was
off
on the
from
beach
the
side,
front,
not on
so
the
you
pier itself.
can
I
shoot
think if
all
they
of them
understood
running
that,
up.
maybe they would have changed the approach of how they wrapped up that game,
Interesting.
maybe apply more pressure onto Mad Bulls. But the fact is, on the pier itself, like the dot of the center of the circle on the pier makes it a lot tougher. So you need to try and get control and seize control first. Otherwise, Mad Bulls will snatch
I
it
mean,
away.
honestly, on the map for us, it's actually hard to see where the last exact
It was,
point
yeah.
is. Like, so I can understand kind of the annoyance that does come from that from maybe Galatasaray.
I do want to praise Mad Bulls for something that was happening before. They saw the circle where it was going. They leapfrog all of the 3 teams in Ferry Pit itself. We're talking Nexus, we're talking Kazakh team, we're talking De Muerte. Leapfrog those teams, and as the circle shifts away from the city, you're going to pick up 3 eliminations back and forth as the teams try to exit that position. So really good setup and good cosplay from Frozen as Seaweed on the rocks. Very cool.
That was cool, yeah.
I was actually kind of hoping our entire highlight package was just going to be Galatasaray on the pier and then Galatasaray in the water.
I mean, honestly, I think for probably half of that game, they were probably as stunned as we were that the pier was still in for as long as it was.
Oh, yeah.
I was totally expecting a shift away from it eventually, and it just never came.
We're 20 minutes in the game, we're still alive. What's good?
Well, you know what? It is becoming crunch time, right? Because we're halfway through our final day, and it's time to take a look once again here at our overall standings to see where the teams currently stand.
Finally scores.
Duarte is still going to be out of reach at 8th place. Major Pride is slowly falling out of top 5 here. And BRA, they had another, I think, 0-point game here, so that lead is just continuing to extend here for Nextria, as they're looking to be pretty much lock in and secure their 26,000 bucks.
Considering the average that BRA brought in the past couple of days, I don't think any of us would have realistically thought that second place could have been under threat.
Yeah.
But now, that's a very real possibility here, as, again, nothing's really materialized from them in the past couple of games. BRA needs to have that kick back into action that we saw from them.
I don't know how this EU score system works.
Honestly, I've been really entertained
apparently
watching BRA in the past couple of days.
Turkish
Just not
teams,
today.
The Sunken Town,
if
like, finished,
one
not
of your
finished,
team,
but
like
play with
next
them.
Rio
That
S2G gets top
was
5,
that
their
was the
slot will
great
be
start.
passed down to
Bright
the
Esports,
next
my
team
opinion. That was their
in
best.
That made us all say,
PMGC points.
Bro, that was really
So, I don't know.
oh, look in here. I mean,
Top
Duarte,
qualifies.
8th place
Like,
at
will
119,
DRM qualify,
S2G at
KP?
7th at 120. So again,
Is
right
top
now,
5 to
because of the
PMGC
way
or
that these
top
rankings
6?
are
I
set,
don't even know.
this
It's
means
like super
Ozrox would get
confusing.
into PMGC. However, if we do see Duarte leapfrog S2G, there's a possibility they
I
take that
do
away from
expect
Ozrox
more
and take the
from
place
Rectum
for
Cario.
themselves. So there's a lot of
In my
lot of
opinion, they
tension
should be
here as we look
playing
down
better
towards the
than
second
10th
page.
place.
And Galatasaray able to move off the bottom of the leaderboards here, able to get up to 15th
And
place.
they're
Nexus,
also next in
where have
line
they
in
been,
terms
man?
of
We were so
PMGC
excited. I know we
points.
even keep talking about it every single
After
match, but there was
next
a real
Rio, I'm pretty sure.
possibility we would have seen this team in PMGC, but they have only 3 matches left to step up and show what they've got.
The roller coaster has been going up, a little bit down. It's going to go back up again.
Okay.
Maybe at the end of the day we'll see, but
GG
it's still a very small gap. But we're getting to the point where we're
95
So
points.
excited. I know we've been. This means Ozrox would get into.
If it's top
So
5,
again, right now,
GG
because of
needs
the way that these
more,
rankings are
that's
set,
impossible.
this means Ozrox
They
would
need
get
36 points.
They've got.
They need to close the 36 points gap in 3 games.
Ozrox
That's, like, impossible.
able to go through on that top side of the bracket. We've seen a lot of them over
I don't
in that
see how
zombie
they could
stadium.
qualify.
They did a lot with the RPGs, but this time they're going to have to take those open, longer range fights with De Muerte in the room.
Those show maps are actually super nice.
What?
There's no way they're playing with 3 players.
Wait, what? What?
Hey, all right.
Oh no, there's 4. There's 4.
Oh, okay, they're in. All right, they just started with.
Okay.
Okay. That was spooky. That was very spooky. He just DC'd. He disconnected.
Okay, so maybe they... Okay, there he is. Okay, there's definitely 4 of them. We've checked, we double checked, they are all in. But still a little bit of an early lead, but back and forth between these 2 teams. This is first to 40, it's back to that standard set where the first minute is through. 6 eliminations have been found. Blank, we're looking for those pillow high ground spots.
We are indeed looking for those pillow high ground spots.
Wait.
Right now, over on the overall rankings, though, kind of curious about that. 180 points for next Ruya. I mean, they're certainly secure.
This
Now,
damage
they've
doesn't
taken
seem
so
right.
many points away from so many teams.
M4
We
does
are
not
looking at
melt
Muerte
that
right now on our
hard.
screens. Currently losing, now tying, but 119 points. You know, just 1 point behind S2G in 7th place. They knock them out. They secure themselves a spot. So that's a really important amount of points they need to get, John.
Absolutely, they need to find S2G. I mean, it's a similar story for both Nexus and Rectum Kaya. And to be fair, kind of Kazakh and Dagestan as well, with that chance to have a big game to put them back up. And the fact that we have 3 matches left to play, Blank, we have so very few matches left in this tournament, and it is still such an open ground. If people have these big pop of performances, it can really, really change things up. I mean, I know we've spoken so ill of the Gladiators, but
25
theoretically,
points. Yeah.
it's like, it's doable in 3 matches. It's
25
right
points,
there.
right?
It's within their grasp. Yeah, exactly. So all they need to do is get 25 points more than that 7th place bubble at this stage. But it's just so crazy. And also, speaking of teams that could qualify, Duarte on that chase, S2G being what is essentially a placeholder for Ozorox, who's the other team in this TDM, right? They are right now in a spot where Ozorox would qualify if S2G stay where they are.
For sure. So it's so interesting at the moment. Kanina Power, you gotta praise them as well because they've done such a good job at trying to keep themselves in. But even them, 126 points, it doesn't feel all that sturdy, right? It's the real scary thing. I really do hope, you know, if anything, the one team that I really just do hope that makes it into a qualification spot is definitely Major Pride. I think they've done fairly well during this tournament, even despite like quite a difficult start for themselves to get into that top 5. They spent both spring and fall really putting up numbers, and I think it would be a shame not to see them over in PMGC.
Would be real tough stuff. Certainly a treat if we're afforded it, but they've got a challenge ahead of them. 18 to 17 on this current scrap. Maybe the winner of this will be a little bit of an indication as to who's going to be able to take that qualification spot into PMGC. And as I say that, Duarte have just opened a 4-point lead on these trades against Ozorox.
Yeah, it's not looking too bad for themselves. I mean, if they can take this final TDM, a little bit of glory in their back pockets, which would be nice. Nexus. Nexus, please. 9th place, 116 points. I believe. This could be a big difference changer as well. On Miramar, they didn't have 3 players. You know, that could have all changed.
True. Yeah, maybe. They could have had a better time of it. Duarte having a pretty rough time there, but still a 4-point lead for Duarte. On this scrap, it's first to 40, so still 14 points needed for Duarte to take home the title of the TDM champions of the championship. We'll have to wait and see if they're able to do so. But it would be ash to the mouth, I believe, as if they aren't able to qualify. Being TDM champions means nothing when you don't get that qualification spot you are so doggedly chasing.
Yeah, TDM champions, PMPL EU champions. Got many accolades, but the only badge
Speaking
that they want
of
to
that,
wear
they should
is
treat
the next
regional
of it to the
champions better.
PMGC Stadium.
Like, in a way, I think the current PMGC
Like
point system is pretty
clipping the
shit.
kneecap there from Storm, but he's
It's
traded
about
off.
whoever
32
farms like the
points
most
now,
like
the
bad
cards
teams
for
in the
Duarte,
region.
and a nice little hop
Gets
out
the
wide
most
for Milky
PMGC
Way with
points.
the UMP. Gets the spray down. There's no
Maybe I'm
answer
thinking
either,
if
so
they're gonna
7
keep
points
using
now needed.
PMGC points for next year,
Alchemist moves forwards, hops
finals
high.
should be worth
Milky Way
double points.
doesn't spot him before it's too late. The auto
Like, if you
shotgun
make
shutdown, and there's a teammate
160
there
points
ready
in
for the
finals,
trade.
it should
6
be
eliminations
320
needed
PMGC
now.
points.
Yeah, pretty much just going to be trades.
So
now
it has
through
like a
Duarte
winning a championship actually
over and
gives you a
over.
better
They
value than
initiate with the nades, see if they
like,
can find themselves a
compared to
pick-off
farming people in big
over
stage.
towards high ground positions. Swain's able to get a good shot off, but
It
Cortex
just doesn't seem right.
falls to the nades. That's what I'm talking about.
With 4 points necessary, Corker and Furia both line up for Storm. They pull him back, they bait him in, take him down when they need to. And Ozorox now
Can't hear
holding
you
out
enough.
right back at their spawn. The shots from Milky Way can
How is
spray
that?
on top, and the nade was cooked to perfection there. 39 points, however, and these trades
What
are
about
all
now?
it's going to take. It is Duarte in the end to be our TDM champions.
Do I have
Will
to
that
speak
give them
up,
the power
or
they need? Will it spur
it's
them on
actually a
to be
problem
able
with
to
my
take a
mic?
spot in the PMGC qualification?
Is
Yeah,
the
that's
stream
question.
too loud?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be able to push them any further, but there's the bracket as it ends. All tidied up, all loose ends in a little ribbon, in a little bow. There we go. We get back to the championship now.
As Max would
itself.
say, ça c'est suffit. We are all done. That is sufficient. That's all we need. We're going onwards now.
You do realize Max also speaks English, right?
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Take your word for it.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check on that one. Can we get a fact check, please? But we are going.
Absolutely. After this game ends.
He might say it. He speaks French sometimes. I've heard him.
Can't believe you stereotype him like that. It's just rude.
What do you mean stereotype?
Because he's French.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've heard that.
You're saying he speaks French because he's French, but he's also half
Yes.
English.
That's true. Yeah. That's so, oh man. No idea what you're getting at here, but having a terrible time. But stop that! Stop that!
As
Bantai over.
Napoleon would say, "C'est la vie."
As Joan of Arc would say, "Ferme ta bouche." We are going to be going over to Sanhok this time around.
Sound of game higher than
From
my
the south to
voice.
the north,
Is it good
fairly
now?
easy cut along the plane path.
Or do I have to lower the game sound further?
Gladiators! You can win one Sanhok. Please! I'm not allowed to be biased, but I am!
We really want you just this one time. You can do it. Oh, we believe so much. Batik, Katsune, Tixi, and Baku.
I'll put it this way, I don't think they deserve it at this point. I think they have been extremely unlucky. That sounds mean, I'm not trying to be harsh, but there have been some careless mistakes in the past. I'd like to see them pop off though. We always do call them the last minute Andes. So, I don't know, 3 matches. It's tough, but we were saying during that TDM, 25 points currently sits between them and 7th place. It's not that far away. It is sort of crazy. And you love to see it. It is a real tight standings at the moment in terms of point scoring from every single one of these teams. Super interesting though. And really does lead me to believe that we just have such an amazing ecosystem here in PUBG Mobile, including all you guys at home, the community in general. You guys are super cool. But also in terms of just the way that every single region has developed.
That's
over
not
time.
as so
It's
GG
getting
would like playing from
so
Camp
hard to
Alpha.
make the big leagues unless you are one of the best players in the world now.
That's some annoying zone for
and
Camp Alpha, to
PMGC
be
is
honest.
just no wash anymore. Ever since Nova lost the title, they lost the defending championship. It's just been a different game here in PUBG Mobile.
It has been really tough. And today's matches will decide the final qualification spots for PMGC League stages as well, Blank.
Why not
Everybody
Camp
else,
Alpha
every
zone?
other region has been decided. Those group draws that happened earlier
To be honest, I
would
never
have been
liked
locked
Camp
in as
Alpha
well.
as a drop
So
spot.
seed 1 from Europe
We had to
from this
enter in
qualification
MEA
spot,
because we
and
can't
seed
fight
3 will go
Falcons
into
in
that group
ruins.
green, which by most accounts is the
But
group of death
what's
this
my last
season in
hope?
PMGC. So
Who
whilst
knows?
you might win in this tournament here, going in as first
I mean,
seed
if you
could
throw a
cause you
whole
to be in
tournament,
one
it
of
doesn't
the
come down to
hardest
one
groups
Sanhok.
in the league stage for PMGC.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm those teams from Group Green, I'm also scared of the teams coming in from the PMPL EU Championships. They are unbelievably good. So you're just adding insult to injury over on that group. And if anything, it's less of a case of being sad you're in Group Green and being sad that you have to play alongside Group Green. Because every time that they hit on the match, one of those teams is more than likely going to do very well and push a lot of those other teams in PMGC aside. That remains to be seen though, and that'll be in the future. Hopefully not too far away for everyone at home that's waiting.
Like, I'll welcome
assure you
any
it's gonna
team
be a
to our
mega
group, just not the
PMGC
Murti.
this year.
Because we both stand
Certainly is. I
Mount.
mean, if these circles are going to be replicated, it will
We'll
be
see.
absolutely
This whole,
insane
like,
because
qualification
we've spoken
scene
about
from
this.
EUC,
It is
it's so confusing.
Crazy circles we are seeing so far. And I said before this match, Blank, you know what I'd like? A cave finish. And you know what's in the circle? It's cave, right down towards the south side. BRA, and it looks like De Muerte are close to it, and Kazakh team as well, with Mandarin sat right on top of it. You can see that on the minimap.
Oh,
With
DMR is
Regnum
running right
Kaya
into
holding
them.
out the hills to the northwest. Major
Oh,
Pride
nah.
aren't too far flung from it either.
Oh,
But
nah,
this
they're
general
getting
centre of
blown
the
up.
circle sits around Quarry. Nomi
Wow.
gets the spray down onto 1 for De Muerte, and
Yeah,
Regnum Kaya
no.
might take up the mantle of slowing this rotation down, but Tron gets spotted
They're
and
too
rattled
slow.
a little bit. However, there is an answer, and the rest of Regnum Kaya will keep Tron safe for the time being, and actually turn their attention over towards Major Pride.
Get him on that side. Major Pride looking up towards Regnum Kaya. Effect takes down Corker, but they are stuck between a pretty rough scenario right now. Holding out versus 2 teams, all looking their way.
Everybody slows down a little bit. Major Pride are currently, Blank, in a qualification spot. They are in 5th place as it stands. They are holding on to it. They can fall down. I think they can afford to fall down 1 position before they get. Oh no, 2 positions, I suppose, before they get pushed out of the running. But if they go below S2G by dropping those 2 positions, they would actually be taken out, and that spot would be given to Ozorox from S2G's position. So they really can't afford too much of a misstep here. So keeping all 4 players alive for Major Pride, very important.
Very, very important indeed. Because they know that they do need to do a little bit more into this tournament, right? You know, 131 points is not exactly in the best position. You're ahead of a few other teams, but only by a touch, right? So it is a little bit touch and go for this team at the moment. Just trying to rotate through as smartly as they can, heading down towards Quarry. Regnum Kaya once again being a thorn in their side. They were yesterday at Arango, and they're here again on Sanhok.
Playing on the walled compound to the west of Quarry. Should have a fairly solid hold for the time being, unless Regnum Kaya can sneak a couple of shots through. S2G have left Paradise Resort fairly early. Looks like Nexus are starting to move south from Cow towards Tapmok and through even further south. Blank, I like what Tixi has done. They've done it again. They've put him back on that scout towards the Trifecta compound. My qualm with the rest of the team is that
I
they are
watched
so far
PMRC,
west on the island. If he
the
gets
PEL
spotted, if the
versus
Mad Bulls
SEA.
have decided to go further north,
Honestly, like,
that's curtains for
some
Tixi, and the
PEL
Gladiators'
teams should
rotation
not be
path is
playing
cut off,
that
their
if they're
info
just gonna
gathering is
troll.
removed.
But yeah, SCA
Gladiators,
performed pretty well in general. And they improved a
bit
lot
tough
over
for
the
them
past
in
year.
terms of trying to get over towards that position. I like where Tixi's moved across to, right? Heading over towards Trifecta. And I mean, that position there is going to afford them a little bit more info that they might want. I think a lot of times that they've got up towards this position a bit too late. A team's maybe taking control of it early. For a lot of teams with this type of circle, more preoccupied with trying to get towards these compounds around Quarry gives you a little bit better of it in terms of rotational path. But again, I don't mind this from Tixi. He is usually playing down towards that southeast side anyway.
Just trying to control that compound. It's actually, I think it's Demuerte, right, who normally drop split on that eastern side of the Northwest Island, and they dropped over on a split down towards Cave and Docks this time around for some reason. The playing path would have allowed them to go for that usual drop spot, but this is actually probably what has allowed Gladiators to do what they've done.
LGD was 3 kills.
Is a little bit treacherous now, though. Our team's going to go to
I
the
think
south side here.
the entire
A lot of ground is
LGD
taken
was
up by Quarry
tilted
on the northern side
after
of this river,
their
but likely to end up
surprise
on the North
defeat
Shore. It still
in
keeps caving.
PEL finals.
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
Because everybody was
Honestly,
expecting them
getting
to
knocked
make
out and pushed
PMGC,
by Regnum
get
Kaya.
top 4 in PEL finals.
Demuerte
They would just
have
go to
dropped here in the
PMGC.
past quite a few times,
But
not at least,
unfortunately, no.
in this tournament, but also
And
over
after
in
PEL finals, in the last chance
stage.
qualifiers are
He
also
also
throwing.
dropped down towards Camp Bravo, or at least tried to a lot.
But LGD
And I
played
think
like
this is them
super well,
figuring
like really
things
well
out.
during the
Malise
entire league
Esports
play.
versus Ozorox.
So it was like a
For Ozorox,
surprise
this
to
is
see
bad
them
news.
not like
Ooh.
doing well in the
There's
finals.
the shots they're
Also,
finding.
that
Although
DBS is
Falconister
stupid.
Swain might be resable here. I mean, Sephir
Like
close
15
enough
meter
to
one
Falconister,
tap.
just look for this res. Don't think they'll be able to get Swain back up. He is far too far away. But playing on as 3, might be able to hold on to it. Malise seemingly done just about enough to have about 4 or 5 point gains from this stage on to secure their spot qualifying into PMGC, but they still do need to find those points because it is a risky position we find ourselves. Next Ruya and Regnum Kaya both taking their pound of flesh from S2G on this push.
This is great news for some of the EU teams. S2G going down early here with little to no points. Similarly with our last game, once again out in 16th. Next, Ruya definitely not doing their brothers any favors here.
Certainly not. It's
Wait,
not going
what?
to return the favor of giving them the
Yeah.
the
No, match
PMGC
4.
point spot qualification.
There's one more
to those league
Sanhok and
stages that
Erringel Miramar
S2G
after.
gave over to next Ruya, given their hosted country invite spot. As you say, that favor not repaid in kind. Brutal. It's very cutthroat here in PUBG Mobile.
This
That's what we
guy.
love to see. Regnum Kaya turning their attention to the Mad Bulls. This is closer to Painan
Wow.
than the scrap.
I don't think Mad Bull knows this
S2G.
guy's here.
Yeah, Mad Bull's starting out there actually, quite early on. That's a lovely line of vehicles, well parked. Good job. Regnum Kaya certainly giving them a bit of trouble. Gladiators hear this though, and they've got the high ground. Currently Wild and Azel fairly exposed to that angle. You gotta be worried about this.
There's
Never
Matt.
mind.
Just get spotted, pulled off the ridge. I mean, this divot gives a nice bit of cover for them to hold angles towards the Mad Bulls. The fact that Tron was able to get the knock onto Matic, really, really useful.
GG took their
See the
high
rest of the
ground.
Gladiators just holding face, waiting for these peaks to come through. They don't need to move too dramatically, but they've got Nexus and Chaos both to their north side, who might give them trouble in the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, for Gladiators it'd be lovely to get further down towards this compound, but either way, to take down Regnum Kaya, they have to push through another team in Mad Bulls. But this is sort of a case of just waiting for the next circle, figuring out what to do after that. I hope they're watching up towards that northwest side. I haven't confirmed that it's cleared as of yet. There's still those northern teams that can come in, including Nexus and Chaos, as we were talking about before. But next circle will be shifting.
Wow.
And it is a K finish.
I've called it right from the
Chat,
start.
this zone is a
Could it be
GG for
finish?
GG.
Looks like we might be going.
Like
And that is a
impossible zone.
really tricky spot. Obviously, Blank, there's two elevations which could cause an isolation between two final circle teams. A team could also just slide into cave and play low down and survive very, very late, which for teams around that bubble position could be a very viable strategy.
Middle of nowhere.
It's a grim position to make your way towards as well. For Nexus, I think they're the luckiest team in this location because they get to swing on that northern edge pretty quickly. Most of the time, because this circuit wouldn't allow you
For
to
what?
do something
Like,
like this, because they're right on the
camp
edge
alpha
there,
zone?
they do get the time to do it.
Okay.
Fantastic. And they might be able to get some to the high ground that sits just the eastern side of Quarry. In the meantime, Kitsune has to
Three
hit
kills.
these shots.
This is a little bold for my liking.
What?
Kitsune. Meku needs to find this answer. We'll be able to get that first.
What?
There's a second player and the nades
Wait,
come
how are they
down
losing
through.
this?
Kitsune peaked without the backup. It was just a straight up fight. The Mad Bulls capitalized. They resurged.
Wait, how is
from the
GG
compound
possibly
and
losing
push
this
up,
fight?
crushing Regnum
Your
Kaya in
enemies
the
are
process.
prone a dip.
Gladiators have lost Kitsune.
How do you
Meki
lose?
is irretrievable, and the Mad Bulls somehow come out at the better end of all of this
Nah.
fighting.
Yeah, I think you've got to assume and they might be able to get some
How do you...
pretty quickly. Most of the time, because this circuit wouldn't allow you to do something like this, because they're right on the edge there, they do get the time to do it inside a Quarry. In the meantime,
You have
Kitsune
3 nade,
has to hit these
4
shots.
Molotov.
This is a little bold
You run
for
to
my
open the
liking
shoot.
for Kitsune.
Okay.
As they just
Okay.
instantly go for this play. Fleek has to now deal with Chaos, and they're doing a great job at holding down on this compound.
The Mad Bulls made us sterner stuff today. Able to take down Galatasaray over on Perry Pier. In a
Wow.
spot where they really shouldn't have been allowed to. And now they're going to move in from this west side, sweeping through. Chaos, their next hurdle. Lord Cedric wants to try and shut them down, but they are just rolling forwards, and it's going to take a little bit more than that to pump the brakes.
Some nice shots from him. He's just holding the angle right now.
And there's Loxy. Actually, it's BRA with these shots out towards Mad Bulls, and they will take another Mad Bull head. That's going to mean they are down on 2, but they've got 6 points on the match blank, and for the Mad Bulls, in the position that they sit, that might be enough to secure them. If they can just keep up these averages, that's what they'll be looking for. They are currently in 3rd place, a similar sort of spot to Malise, where they just need middling games, and they have already been able to achieve that on this match.
You'd be so frustrated if you're Gladiators here, though. Leaving that engagement with 0 eliminations after you put in so much hard work to push down towards
GG
Regnum Kaya,
lost the player and got
and
0
you lose a
points
player
for
in the
all that?
process.
Nah.
That is a horrible experience to move into.
That was
Next
not
year,
worth it.
Also, in front of them over the ridge.
Really rough on the mental.
Kitsune should not have died like that.
Meku back up, actually.
He had 3 nade, 4
I thought they were
Molotov.
going to be irretrievable there, but I guess with Regnum Kaya getting out as fast as possible with Loxy and Mad Bulls absconding along the riverside, They are going to have a little bit easier time getting back to him. The circle shifts out east, though, and all of these teams out on the west side going to really struggle now. Major Pride up north towards Quarry. Next, Ruya in their way a little bit further south. BRA, Galatasaray, Dagestan, all down towards that southwest side. And you can see BRA just looking to control this crossing. Galatasaray leave Realm way exposed and way isolated from the rest of them. Dagestan yet to cross.
A lot of teams just aren't putting a lot of emphasis towards the compound at the top side of cave. I mean, next Ruya is now finally moving that way, but the fact that no one's taken it does leave an opening for one of these teams on the outside.
This
edge.
is like an
Major Pride
impossible
could even go
cross
for this if
for
they set
DG.
themselves up, ready to go.
There's no way they can cross
There's
this
a
bridge.
vehicle in the hands of Gladiators.
Impossible.
That might be their last resort, but it being the pickup truck, that thing explodes extremely quickly.
Real dangerous position to be in. Dagestan enveloped by the blue. Major Pride to fend off the Gladiators. Or rather the other way around, as the Gladiators are going to have to move past them, but already Tixie down to a nade.
Where
Matic
did
cooking
Major
one up of his
Pride
own.
came
Dino
from, and where
spotted
did next
on the
Ruya go?
headland, repositions towards effect.
Next
Kevin
Ruya
King's
was
finally
holding
just
this.
not landing on the mark blank.
Where'd they go?
Here's the shutdown for effect potentially. He knows there's a player behind this rock. The Gladiators continue to pour the ordnance down, but that's a missed nade there for Matic. Is that the smoke just to try and give him a little bit of cover? I think it is, yeah, it will give the bloom around the edge, and Matic will have to hold as two with the remaining player, Meku. A swing down wide, and Matic shut down. Dino with the first spray, Meku spotted, and this should be it for the Gladiators. Wants an answer to effect, will not be able to find it, and there's the shutdown they were looking for.
Nice Gladiators leaving that game with 0 points.
Oh, that is unfortunate for them. And we've been putting nail after nail in their
Wait.
coffin blank, but that might
You
be
got
the final one for the
Okay.
Gladiators. Two matches, just not enough to do it.
Oh shit.
Not this time around, unfortunately. Major Pride rolling up onto
Not
the Mad Bulls.
two.
A strong, stalwart team sweeping down that west coast, but Major Pride roll in and take one down. Zerich, the last to stand, with a nade in hand, tries to cook it, pop it through that window, post it home, but Major Pride avoid the
It
damage.
sucks how his teammates
For
playing
the time
across the
being.
road. Should have played in the same
Will
house to
have
defend.
try and stay alive on this northwest side. Zerich does have another nade, but I don't think he's going to put it in just yet.
Kazakh team doing a good job down towards Galatasaray, who seem to love their coastal areas. Over towards the pier side, Keep goes down, but it's Nexus on this north side, which is kind of the outlier here. It's difficult to get across this road, to have a shout into this match, but they absolutely need to now because they've had a pretty shocking day so far. The points need to start being accrued at this point.
A split
3
decision.
picks.
Yeah, a split decision on the predictions here. Kanina Power, you agree with Max and Kale? On that east side, they are going to have to move a little bit closer, leave those Sanctuary of the Walls. This was predicted before this circle popped, though, so potentially maybe a little bit of a change-up, but me and Jason, we've gone for next Ruya. We like their crossing, we like their spot on the north, and to be fair, it's next Ruya. They really just do bloody well every time.
Yeah, they've got an okay spot down towards the low ground. I think the thing about Kanina Power is regardless of where the circle went, they were always going to have some kind of high ground elevation to play off the back of it. So I do like this still from Kanina Power. It does continue to work. Some hell of a raz there from Nexus, but I think that's as far as they go. Mad Bulls, you know, 6 eliminations. They've got 1 player left remaining in Zerich. I think they've had a pretty good game despite
So next
finding
Ruya really
themselves in
went
some
to
very
4-man
awkward
on a shack.
situations.
Fair enough.
It is rough stuff around the bubble. With S2G going down with 0, Malise going down with 1, Dagestan with 1, they were on the chase. Regnum Kaya getting a couple
Their
of points.
original spot
Dumourete
is super
need to
hard to
survive as long
hold,
as possible
because they're
here,
going to get
and
pushed
to be
by
fair, I
more than
think
one team.
Milky Way is in probably one of the better spots to
Because
do
if
it.
next Ruya didn't
Just
leave,
try and stay alive
Major
down
Pride
in the
and
cave,
GG will be pushing on them
hunker down, and
from
the
two
circle
sides
shifts out that way as well. It's
until
going to
die.
keep him in this zone. I could give Dumourete some incredibly important points here, Blank. It could all come down to Milky Way's survival in this one Sanhok.
The funny thing for me is that, again, it's just going to be next Ruya as well as BRA sucking up those points towards that top side. And we haven't had too much of a change,
Oh
honestly, at this point in
no,
time.
do they
Major
not have
Pride,
smokes?
It's been an important match for them. 8 eliminations, making it to the top 7.
Wow.
Oh, still a chance to get at least 2 reses off the back of this, but
Wow.
lovely sprays from Topspic.
BRA is
Doesn't
gonna
have
push
a
him.
nade, so can't lock
right?
one down. He's very low on armor. Look at that. The level 1 helmet, the only thing protecting him, and that is very, very shabby at this point. Next, Ruya trying to extend their influence. Frozen, creeping his way on the underbelly of this rock. Making his way around, trying to establish some control over the summit towards the top of Cave. I don't know if anybody else has joined Milky Way and Cave. Yeah, there we go.
直播是任务吗？
Graxy
不
from
然呢？
Galatasaray
我像是会主
in
动
that
直播的
cave
人
with him,
吗
so potentially a jewel in the middle.
Hi
Milky Way
bro,
draws
hi,
first
welcome
blood,
to the
finds the
stream.
second shot as well, and those shots will be heard, so teams will know that there's some players in here, and Graxy will
Wow.
be spotted from the skylight. Tospic able to get the shutdown there and keep Demuerte safe.
Yeah, Milky Way will just be happy with that one. There is potential he lives in here for a very long time. And what it looked like to me is that BRA just had no meds
Good trade.
and no nades either.
two knocked,
Kane
push.
does go down. Becker, as well as Kanina Power, sweeping in from that eastern side. Like
Oh,
we said
never
before,
mind.
they had a
Can't
great
push.
ridge line to play alongside with to move towards this circle. They get another shifting their way, looking to confirm onto
Are you
Z-Wolf
from
here
China?
down the bottom side.
I'm Chinese,
Perfect nade.
but
They
I'm
have
from
to be
the
careful
United States.
about the south side, though. It looks like Palucci continues to look that way as Kazakh teams start to make their way across.
GG 进
The
不去
fact
了
that，this cave entrance
肯
is
定
here
进不去了。
actually
才
gives
2把追
Milky
40分，怎么
Way
可能
a
啊？
pretty decent spot to maybe even pick up a point or two later into this game for Demuerte in a pretty crucial point for him. Next, Ruya spent a little bit too long down low. Kazakh team getting shot out across the way by BRA, who are going to have to flow around the side of this, skirt the skylight, and get around the edge. Yekta getting flanked on now by Major Pride, but Dino goes down next. The backlines are being lit up. The next Ruya trying to hold on, Frozen, with the Molotovs, with the burn, and Major Pride is taking shots from the top rope as well. It's Kanina Power, it's BRA,
Yeah, no.
all looking out this way. Naomi is the last there, but a nade across seals the deal. That will be next
Impossible
Ruya
zone for
down, and
Major
Kanina
Pride.
Power with it all to play.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic game from Kanina Power, and I think that they picked their moment and their spot
Major
very
Pride did their
smartly
best.
in this match.
They
And a lot of
outlived
teams
next
would
Ruya.
quickly send up towards the top side of Cave and not really pay too much attention towards the checkpointed gameplay that we've seen from Kanina Power. I think that when you say that like next Ruya spent too much time on that low ground, realistically that was the only place they could have gone from their spot, and you just have to sort of play it out from there. I think they did great to hold on to it as long as they did, because you've got BRA bearing down on you from the top side of Cave. You've got Kanina Power moving across, and Major Pride, who made a very good run that you just can't really see with the sightlines you're given for next Ruya. But last circle now, let's see if Kanina Power can close this out. You know, it is BRA, so there's a chance that Kanina Power don't win this game.
And you've also got Milky Way from Demuerte. I question how many meds does this
First
guy have,
PMGC
right? Because
without
if it comes
GG
down
and
to
Nova.
it, if it's a
Oh,
top
yeah.
and bottom finish with the blue zone just closing, could potentially be a tricky spot. You need to make sure you got those meds on board. If Kanina Power have taken these fights, they're going to be a little bit lower on it, maybe a little bit less healthy. Kazakh team
You know, there's
calling
a
across.
Chinese saying
Kanina
of
Power
like,
hit one too many bullets from Mandarin.
it's
Palucci
easy to
does
get
go
to the
down.
top,
A
but
jump
it's
and a
hard to
strafe
stay on
of
top.
Hayes goes down next to Mandarin,
That's
looking to try and
so
shut it
true
down.
for
Here's
this game.
Ashipa with an aid on through. 2 players alive for Kanina Power and a flush to center their backline. It's just Becker in the
A
back.
lot of
Needs to clutch it
teams,
out here,
like
but he has
the
BRA bearing down
top
upon
teams
him,
back
and they
then,
will fall
like
in
last year
fourth
or 2
place
years ago, the
flank.
old
All
top
4
teams,
players dismantled.
they
A good
struggled
opener
to
for
adapt to
Kazakh,
the new
and now
meta.
it's the top spot battle.
So this
Zashipa
year
out
it's
into
really
the
like
blue, and Demuerte, Black
card
through it
shuffle.
all, have weathered the storm. Milky Way down below.
This
in
guy
the
under
depths
the
of
cave got
cave
second
to
place.
keep Demuerte's dreams
Well.
alive of getting to PMGC.
You'll take
Wait,
the second place here, honestly.
are you
Kakali goes
serious?
down. I think Milky Way realizes now is his chance. He has to play this
So
one
the
out
Mertian
from
lost 3
underneath.
players in like
This is
circle
it.
1
They're low
and
on
just
it.
solo
I
got
think
6
he
placement
actually
points?
gets it.
I think he actually wins here.
Wait,
it could be a full pacifist run here,
Wait.
Blank. No eliminations for Demuerte. How
There's
many
no
meds
shot
do
the
these guys
solo
have?
underground
Can they
wins the
start
game,
heal
right?
before as well? Because remember, you need to get tagged by the blue zone,
Does
and
these
he's done just that. So he
BRA
knows
guys not
what
have
this heal's
heal?
all about. Does he have a med kit? That's the question. If he's been able to find it, get closer to the center here.
Wait.
A nade dropped down, might
No
find
way.
something, but it's all up to the heal. They have traded it
Okay,
over.
nice,
Milky
they're
Way
healing
starts.
early.
Toss pick is down, but that's not what we're looking at. It's Coursera to fatal the burn. And it's Milky Way from Demuerte. A full
What?
pacifist run, and such a crucial bubble team to find 10 points where it matters.
Wait, are you
cannot make this
serious?
up. A cave finish, a top to bottom, a heal off on Sanhok. We haven't seen it for years, but it goes on through.
I mean, honestly,
What was
Milky
that?
Way almost throws that game.
No, what was
right?
that?
Almost throws that game. I don't know why he got tagged by
That's
the blue
crazy.
there, on his way in. Oh yeah, I guess so. He has to be.
Did this guy even have kills?
70% right. So, in fact, it was a giga play coming through from Milky
There gotta
Way.
be some
But you've
sorts
got
of
this over in
PMPL
the league
records
play
if
as
this
well,
this
where,
guy
you know,
won
they
with 0
have
kills.
to have this case where
Just heal up and
you
he
know,
won.
Milky Way was the one to clutch out a game 1v3 versus
Bruh.
Kanina Power, I believe it was. But what a match from him. I mean, he didn't have to do too much, but he certainly weathered the storm from underneath and kept himself in the play, and also limited sightlines from a lot of teams on the top side. Again, BRA, fantastic job versus Kanina Power. I
What
do
am I
think
watching?
it's slightly I don't know.
It's Milky Way. That team low on HP.
I think he is second place here, honestly. Kakali goes down.
Many to get tagged by the blue guys have. Run here, Blank. No
So it's
eliminations
smart
for
how this
Demuerte.
guy actually
How many
took a
meds
little bit of
tagged by the blue
damage so
zone?
you
He's
can
been
use
able
the
to find
first
it.
aid
Get
early.
closer to the center here.
Because with
A
this
nade
new
dropped
safe
down,
zone, you
might find
cannot
something,
out-heal
but it's
the
all
last
up to
zone.
the heal. They have
So
traded
he
it
popped
over.
the heal
Milky Way
early.
starts. Toss pick is down, but that's not what we're looking at. It's Coursera to fatal the burn.
But
And
the
there it is.
BRA
It's
guy
Milky
misses
Way
heal.
from Demuerte. It's down, but it's all up to being able to find it. Get closer to the center here. A nade drops down, might find something, but it's all up to the heal. They have traded it over.
Oh,
Milky
the
Way
BRA guy
starts.
cancelled.
Toss pick is
No
down, but
wonder.
that's not what we're looking at. It's Coursera to fatal the burn. And the Milky Way starts. Toss pick is down, but that's not what we're looking at. It's Coursera.
Wow.
Over
It's time to up.
lower.
Congrats, I guess. But don't be in our group. Who do you think is the champion for UC?
Who says you need to get
Or
any
PMGC?
eliminations to win a chicken
For
dinner here
UC,
in
I don't
PUBG
know,
Mobile?
but
Well,
for
probably a lot of people said it's
PMGC,
possible,
I
but
would say
probable?
it's
Probably not likely,
WBG.
especially when you get to this stage
Yeah.
of play here.
It
but
should
my
be
God,
WBG.
Demuerte have been able to do so, and more importantly, potentially get themselves back into the running here, back into the top 7.
The
for a
thing with
chance to get into
WBG
PMGC.
is
Just
they're
imagine a
kinda
world where we end
inconsistent.
off the entire day, and that play right there,
It's like-
is what got them in.
It's like their
PMGC.
mood or
How did you
something.
qualify in PMGC? I got a 0 elimination.
So
chicken
they
dinner,
usually-
great times. That was our
they're
ticket
usually
to
really
glory. It's the
consistent
biggest
for,
event
like,
of the year. But it's insane how
a few
we had
weeks, and then for
an
1
on-pair
week they
finish,
just
we
throw.
have now a finish on cave down to the heal off.
PMRC
can
is
say
bad.
here, Look,
Mm.
this is super important. Blank
Well, to be
identified
fair,
just at the
WBG
final
had to
moment,
fight hot
but
drop
it's super
against
important
BPE
that down on the
for the
bottom
first
side
2
of this
days.
here, Milky Way
And
takes
they
a tick
got
of blue
like
damage. You
60
cannot
points,
start
I think,
that
today.
first aid kit
Which they don't
without
have to
being
hot drop.
underneath
Look, there it is right there.
75% health.
See? He
So
runs out.
walking
That was it.
in, it's essential. If he doesn't do this, he likely doesn't win. Or, I mean, in theory, the guy upstairs might have not, you
This
know,
time from
he
South
might have
Asia?
not been able to do that as well. And then, you know,
Maybe.
that's how it all works out. But that won
That
him the game.
4MV
walking into the
team
blue and then walking back
has
in.
some
Then he can
really
start
good
it
fighting
before.
power.
If you get ticked down by the blue and then
Find a post
eventually
only for
start your
Vincent
first
Hawk.
aid
I already
kit
posted.
as the
It's
blue's
on my
ticking you,
Instagram.
it won't finish in time. So it buys you those crucial seconds.
And I do also want to talk about Bra because I thought they were also
You're
really
saying I
smart
should
how they
post
played
on
it. Sure, the
YouTube?
timing of the meds were not
Yeah.
enough.
Well, I
But they had
should.
two
Yeah.
players. One of the
I'll
players ran
post it.
out in the blue to die.
Nasser champ?
If you have
Nah.
two players, they're going to take blue
I
zone
know who I
damage
am.
earlier. So you have to have one player
There's no
who's in
way.
that singular
Realistically
spot where you
speaking,
take
there's
damage.
no way.
So it didn't
Not
quite
this
work
year.
out, but it was also the right approach for Brad to hopefully go for the win.
I find it ridiculous, this tournament. We have had the most insane circles. We just had a pier finish in Fairy Pier, and now we're in a cave heal situation. This is
That is actually
Yeah,
like
that was
pretty
it.
smart.
It's essential. If he doesn't do this, he likely doesn't
What's your
win.
Insta?
Or, I mean, in theory,
It's the same.
the guy
Nasser
upstairs might have
underscore
not,
stars.
he might have not been able to do that as well, and then that's how it all works out. But that won him the game, walking into the blue and then walking back in, because then he can start it before. If you get ticked down by the blue and then eventually start your first aid kit as the blue's ticking on you, it won't finish in time. So it buys you those crucial. Because then you can start it before.
Yes,
if you
this start right?
get
Yes.
ticked down by the blue,
How old am I?
and then
20.
Like, this is the first scene.
50 damage done, no damage received.
They
No
actually have 0
eliminations,
kills.
No knockouts, but one chicken dinner.
got a knock.
I think that has to be some like PMPL record.
We can see here, obviously
A
not gonna be
team
on top
win
of
with
the
0
table,
kills.
but
I don't
so
think that's
weird.
ever happened before.
That's so strange to see, man. But yeah, BRA.
I have to search for them.
I've seen teams winning with like 2 kills.
Hey, BRA is back.
I haven't
right?
seen
We won
1 kill, I
before
haven't
this
seen
game.
0
Obviously,
kill.
they've been a little
That's
bit,
actually like
I'm gonna call it
ridiculous.
vacant in the first 3 games, but now being able to get these points on the board, because I was concerned for them for the
0
second place,
kills.
but looks like they'll be able to defend it here so far.
Yeah, we still have 2 games to go, so it's not like 100% safe, but it's at least keeping them in a position to contest for that second spot. And I'm surprised they took as good a fight as they did against Kanina Power. I do have to echo Blank's point, though. There was Kazakh team that was causing a lot of issues for
Yeah,
Kanina
for sure.
Power, so Brass saw that opportunity to backstab on Kanina Power, and then I was going to say get the win, but no, get the second place. It's still hard to realize this just happened. But yeah, 13 elims, 6 placement points.
What
This
am I
second
doing
place is
hiding
gonna be
joining
tough to
Nasser out
take
of
away from
nowhere?
Bra.
don't forget about Major Pride too. They were one of the teams having a really suboptimal performance today, potentially being knocked out of top 7.
I don't know
so
what to
nice
say.
see them get some points for themselves. And S2G
It's a
getting
shame.
0.
Well,
Ozrox are watching this like.
to be
S2G,
honest, I'm
please, please
surprised
just do something.
the
Just get a couple more points. Get us
player
qualified
from
into
the
PMGC.
Murte knows like the thing,
It's a
because
little
he
bit
had to
sad
take
actually for
damage
Galatasaray,
earlier,
who were
so you
in
can
10th
heal
in this
before
game,
someone calls on him.
actually had the right idea. They actually swam.
I'm surprised
into
people know
cave,
this.
A player that you just don't see in professional play, and that fight of Milky Way going up against Galatasaray,
Rasky, yeah.
very important in this game.
It was
extremely
Bra
Aw.
upstairs that actually got,
Got
the
it.
Yes,
elimination
yes,
onto him.
the
So
They were
that's
searching for
what
one another.
It's
never
gonna
mind.
be
Hey, stop
funny
that right
how
now,
once our
man.
coach find out.
Yeah.
Because I told him
Actually got
DMR
it.
just lost 3
Actually
players
got
in
really
Circle
good
1.
fight
There's no
early
way
on
they
too. They were playing
they
the
can do
north
good.
side of cave on that opening
Yeah.
And then
area.
this player won the game
All
with
of
0
those teams
kills.
trying to cross over the roadside
Doing a
to
heal
then
off.
make that transition a little bit smoother to the east towards Kanina Power. So initial really good setup, but I still can't believe this game happened. This is a first. Have we ever had a 0 elimination win in all of the PMPL regions? Probably someone's going to say, yes, we have.
Oh, yeah.
Like 2019.
There must have
Dare
been
you not know that,
somewhere.
Max? Come on, how dare you not
come
know
on.
which match that
Oh
was?
yeah, what was it, Jason?
It happened back in 2019.
Oh,
Come on.
oh, yeah.
You really feel
okay.
bad
Yeah,
about
I know,
GG?
yeah.
I mean, for sure, though, yeah, this tournament has done nothing but surprise and kind of
I don't
subvert
know.
the expectations of what I was expecting. Because
Like, this year is really like
we get a K
a card
after that
shuffling.
very Pia. There
A
is
lot
Cave,
of
as you can see
your
there.
like
And again, as these
top
circles are
teams
narrowed
in the
down, we're talking
past
about it halfway
is
through this
doing
game.
really bad
This could
because of the
occur,
new
and you know
safe
it
zone
could
settings.
occur, and we actually see it happen.
Yeah,
The
and
new
also
safe
they
zone
could
setting
actually make
added
it
a lot
relatively fun
more
in the game.
tactical
Again,
play
Echoes, we had a bloody
and
cave
encourages
finish, and yet
plan
they're
ahead.
still surviving, they're still getting some points on board, and that
But
makes
the
it
old
so
safe zone
hard
meta
to catch
really,
up to that
it's
first place.
just
They're always
you
in the
have to be good at
conversation,
fighting.
it seems.
That's
You
it.
know, next year is so far ahead, you don't stop till the job's
You guys
done. You don't
qualified
stop
for
till you got that
PMGC,
trophy in your
right?
hand and
Yes,
that
we did.
26,000 bucks in your
We're
pocket,
in
and they're
the
looking
red
like they're
group
gonna be able to
for
pull it off here
PMGC.
as well, with only 2 matches
And
left
we
to go.
play
But let's
on
maybe
November
dive into
9th.
our overalls, I believe. Because I want to see if things have shifted up again.
So it's only
Major Product Case, we're still
17
towards
days
half
from now.
past S2G. So the fact is, there's 9 points that
So
separate. Well, no,
Murte
10 points that
7th place.
separates Ozrox qualifying and not qualifying for PMGC at the moment. And Murte are just clinging on with their fingernails, trying to hold on to this position.
Yeah,
I'm hyped to see how it's going to end.
and as you say, in terms of 10, you say 10 points because of the way in which placement
Yes.
points would work for that.
I'm pretty
tiebreaker.
sure it's
S2G
top
in
6
terms of
qualify.
placement since
Top
day
5
one, obviously they
plus
started
Mad
off with a
Bulls.
victory, but since then,
Because
it's all
any
been a
Turkish
limb
team
focus
placing
for
out top
S2G.
5,
Again, there's
even if
really
they already
not that much
qualified,
pressure on them, but as a
their
region,
region's
you know, maybe
next
they'll
in line in
SGG
terms
do a
of
little bit better.
PMGC
And
points
I've
will
been looking
qualify.
throughout day 2 and day 3 and a little bit of today too. They've been going for
PEL
those central
also,
2-2 splits.
no, not
just like
PEL.
Car, central
Yeah.
2-2
PEL
splits.
has been
But
playing
these
with
circles
the new safe zone setting
so
for
their
like
play
3
style is
years.
just not working because it is so
But the
tough to
thing in
make the
PEL
action
is
work
a
out.
lot
These
of
circles
really
are
talented
unprecedented,
players
and I do
just
feel
turned
for this
18
lobby
this
in
year.
terms of trying to
Like the
solve
players
puzzle. As
who
you say,
played while they
Nextria
were 16
clearly
and the
is
game
able
got
to
banned
solve
for
these
underaged.
puzzles pretty well.
They
But you
turned
have
18
got
this
to
year,
be
like
a
the Tianba
virtuoso of
players.
PUBG Mobile to constantly have to
So
tax your
there's a
brain
lot of
to
like
deal with all of these circles
young
that are being
blood
thrown
in
their way.
PEL this
The
year.
game leaders are earning their salaries.
Yeah, I agree. Yes,
Definitely
yes.
say.
Playing Edge is the new center zone now.
Top
I'm
7
actually
is
reading
hyped.
production that
Yeah.
they've read the script of the next match, and we're gonna have a Zarky finish.
The PMGC points race in Europe has always been this hyped.
How does that sound?
I was going to say, where's Imperium when we need him? He loves Zark.
Well, before we head to the last match, or not the last match, the penultimate match, once again, Monster Energy, our official engineering partner here at PMPL. You guys can pick one up and potentially pour it on Maxman's head if you can't get on the bottom of the
Yes.
prediction game.
Ooh, I mean, I'm
supposed to do it to
I'm not
7.
winning this.
Like
Okay,
now
well, you know, maybe
looking
I'll save
back
it
at
for
it,
7 for another
PEL
time. But
this
let's head
year,
over to our
the
commentaries as we're into our
representatives
last
from
airing down here
PEL
at
to
PMPL EUC
PMGC,
Champs. So take it away.
TEC is a new team. They rebuilt the roster
Last area
just for one
indeed,
season.
and James,
They
I'm
won
sorry, but
PEL,
there
they
was
qualified
actually a
to
correction. We are going to finish
PMGC.
on Georgia Pole Bridge on the long stretch there. That's where the
Tianba
circle's gonna
qualified
finish.
from
That's
Spring
what the
Split,
script has been written for.
and
Mike.
they replaced half
Yeah,
of
I
their
mean, look,
roster
that
for
last
Fall
game
Split.
was absolutely silly.
But
I'm
in reality, it's
so
their Spring Split
surprised
roster
on
that
today,
earned
like,
them the
the
slot
last day of
to
championships,
PMGC.
and it has to be the most
And the WPG
difficult
qualified
circles
with
time and time again.
consistency.
Kale said it like perfectly. You know, you have to be a virtuoso
STE qualified
at
with
PUBG Mobile
Pop-Off
to play
in
this
the
game
last
right.
chance
I think
qualifiers.
Kanina Power took one of the best rotates, the best
Now to
compound,
take top
the best
6,
late
7
game
right now
micro
about
adjustments,
PMGC
and
points.
still lost on a
Well,
crazy circle.
EUC is
But to
only
Muerte,
top 5
they're
plus
absolutely
Mad
laughing
Bulls.
their heads off. Second time Milky Ways pulled a crazy win out of the bag as well for this team
Because
when they needed it most.
Nextria
So
and
they'll be pleased with
S2G
it,
already
despite this
has
kind of
a slot
lackluster
in
performance
PMGC,
throughout the entirety of
but
this
if they place in
championships.
top 5,
But you know that this has been a
another
weird
Turkish
day,
team
just
following
because
their
we
PMGC
all
points
have
will qualify.
basically 1 or
So it's
2
not like
points
the
each in
slot in
terms of
EUC gets
predictions.
past the
The
7th
person
place,
that's got
no.
the most amount of predictions right so
It's only
far
top 5 in
is
EUC
Maxman.
plus Mad Bulls,
Now that's weird.
which is, I think, is pretty stupid.
That's weird. You can't. How is that? Surely you can't be. You are
Only
right.
WPG TEC perform
Goodness me.
in
We're gonna have to step it up in these
PMRC.
last 2 games, Blank. It has been a crazy day
Yeah,
for
it's,
crazy
I don't know why to
tournament.
do that. It's probably
But
for
through the
Turkish
chaos,
teams, to be
Nextria
honest.
has reigned so
not the first
strong
time this happens.
So frequently in these maps. I've just been told we are going to have a bit of a rehost.
So it's
here,
like
Blank,
you
so
see
this
Nextria
north
like
side
getting
lane path will
top
not be
1.
our setup for this match.
Wait,
We
a
are
great
gonna,
host? Really?
but it could
Like
have
you
been
see
a
Nextria
crazy
getting top
circle. So
1,
maybe it is if in
then
fact Jason might be
another
reading
Turkish
ahead
team,
ahead
I
and get,
think is
the finish that goes off.
Autorox, will get
So
invited.
the thing is with this is that
Why not
no.
EU points by Turkey? Who knows?
It's a hard north circle.
Originally they're doing this for
North
Firefox.
circle. It's a circle
But-
that so many of
yeah.
these teams have been waiting for the
I really
longest
wish to see
time
they set the
through.
rules
Oh,
for the year, like
I'm so
ahead of times,
sad
but no.
for some of these lads because
They're gonna
see
change the
this,
rules
and they'll
mid-year
hear
to,
it's a
you know,
rehost.
get some
Be
teams
so
in PMGC.
frustrated off the back of this one. But yeah, we'll be heading back
Only
into the game
Vivo and
shortly.
TEC
No doubt
performed
it's
the
gonna be a
PMRC.
Sosnovka finish at this point in time. But
Vivo
I'm
should
very
be a
interested to see what
lot
happens so
higher
far
up
because
on the
there's a
scoreboard in
lot
PMRC if they
riding
don't have
on
to
this
fight
for
Hot Drop.
S2G, for at least Ozorox.
TEC is
Ozorox are
just
basically
consistent.
Right now. We're good.
Oh,
Oh.
Get
wait a
the
minute.
northern one.
Thought
They
it's a
get the
rehost.
northern circle. This is perfect. What a wild turn of events. Mahal
Next
can't take it.
Rhea Tsarki?
Goodness me, this is far too much excitement for the. Wait, no, it isn't. It's the final day. There's more excitement, please, for this day as we go back into this game. Whatever problems have been rectified, which is good to hear. Out we go into this spot. By the looks of it, Blank, I would hazard a guess that there was an issue with Kanina Power, and I'll tell you for why. Look where the 3 players are down on the southwest side. You've got Agori, Off Hayes, and Palucci over in Primorsk. Becca's over on the east side of Yasnaya.
This is sad because if Becca is going to try and escape, I think he's looting right now. Probably will regroup with the team later, hopefully. But playing as a solo in quite a contested area of the map
Hi,
on this
welcome.
northeast side, that's tough. It's not easy. Also, Becca currently is their player who is doing the most on that team. He is absolutely pumping numbers. He looks so strong. So for them not having Becker at this point in the game, I would be feeling quite dismayed about this. And when
Cornina
they're like
Power
being
had a
very
player
close right now to the border,
disconnected.
you know, 6th place at the moment, 136
Unfortunate.
points.
But no
They are
rehos.
technically into PMGC at this point in time, but you know it's not by a landslide. Not like Next Ruya or BRA. 170 points for BRA and 187 for Next Ruya. So having Becker up here on Erangel, one of the maps that they find a lot of success on, that is tough.
It certainly is, but
What is
just
this?
need to keep his head down, try and find that
Wow.
regroup avenue. It's not out of the question, but they'll need a little bit more. Major Pride, they were able to get fairly far into that previous match, and with the result that they were able to achieve, they're now on 143 points, which puts them in 4th
Honestly,
place
if this
currently,
is
1 point
Nomi, I
ahead
think he
of
clutches.
Malise.
I already
Nice
knocked
from
one.
Nomi over onto Kane. Might be able to pick that point up, but he breaks out wide and
no,
straight into
unfortunate.
Kakali's sightlines, and that's an easy. Spray down should be a flush as well. Nothing really you can do about that. Naomi maybe looking for some revenge, but Coursera
No.
puts him over the coals.
How does his
Fries him up
teammate not kill this
for
guy
the point
panning the open?
For BRA.
Aw.
They are on the chase for next Ruya's top spot.
Are you the
And they are
IGL
looking for a
Nasser?
bit more here.
Yes,
And I think
I
this
am.
is like probably the 3rd or 4th time in a row that Major Pride has lost a player here to BRA. I think
I don't think you
could
should
have
be good
seen
in this
this one
compound,
coming,
to be honest. Pochinki
because
team kills
the
you way
amount of
too
times that
easily.
Major Pride has run into
You can't even
BRA
tell if
because
they sneak up on you,
rotate
like
quite
how BRA
quickly.
did.
It's one of the first times we see a northern circle like this. I think you could safely assume that BRA
Like, if
would make
they're
a mad
looting
dash up
Ross
towards
they
that
don't need
top
to
side
loot
because
this
they have a
compound.
very good read
It's
on
not like
Major
they have
Pride's
no loot.
position. They know they go for a split in this early game, so they quickly pick up towards Nomi. So I think that's extremely targeted coming through from BRA. This moment, Gladiators, they know how to play a circle. They know exactly what they need to do. They're comfortable with this one for the first time in a long time. They're within the circle at the start of the game. They make a rotate up towards shooting range. I don't mind this. It's a good choice. See what they can get done off the back of it.
But it's too late, Blank. For my money, it is just too late. They are too far behind to make this happen in 2 matches.
I don't
just
get
see it
how
being
this Madballs
reasonable.
Major
He's already
Pride
got the
player
knock,
didn't kill this guy,
with
where they
insult to
snuck him.
injury. Of course
Like
it
he's
has to be
panning
the
his
pan.
teammate in the open.
With Blank on the sound effects, that was crisp.
That wasn't me. That was Inga.
Was it? Oh, sorry. I thought, you know, I just thought you were that talented.
No, it's no worries. Gladiators, though, you know, 2 chicken dinners.
you predict them right now, and I'll accept that point for both of the matches.
2 chicken dinners, man. Sure. Why not?
You don't have to. You are quite close. You could
I don't mind.
overtake me. Okay,
It's
all right.
fake internet points. I will happily predict
They're
Gladiators
very
twice.
important, and you take that back.
Nah, I've done it.
Oh, wait, have you? Oh, you have as well.
What even
There
is
you
a
go.
zone?
We'll see if the Gladiators are able to make
Gotta be
something
some,
happen.
like,
They move up
northwestern
to
or
the
north
compound
zone.
that sits to the west of Severny. We've
It's like
seen them move there
everybody's here.
before. We've seen them win games from here. Is it to happen? Is it to be for the Gladiators? I'm hesitant to make that call. Matic rolling over the hillsides, close to Tixie, and the Mad Bulls might spot them out.
It's a nice position, actually, from Matic behind the rock. A little bit difficult to spot out from. But at least they get a good read on the rotation coming through.
For a moment, I thought he had the car spray.
Ooh, S2G, they're out for blood.
Oh, no.
Oh my days, I thought it was a goner.
Slay's too quick with it, too slick with it. But unfortunately, Silas able to slide on through with it. But unfortunately, Silas able to slide. The first 4 of the 9, they are behind Demuerte to give Ozorox that shot at the
Good
PMGC.
GVS shot.
This is my impression of Ozorox right now. Please, Mr. S2G,
When will we travel
please,
to
can we go,
Malaysia?
please, to a PMGC?
It's... wait.
And S2G sitting there. If you don't be quiet,
I
I'll
think
turn
it's
this
November
car right
5th.
around and you're not going
Yeah,
to PMGC.
it's November 5th.
I'm going to go out in 16th place
What's up,
again,
bro?
lad.
Hi, welcome.
You take that back, or I'm going down right here, right now, right in Cube Compound.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
I'm actually pretty annoyed how there's only like, what,
very
a
much
week or two?
eliminations
I
orientated.
mean, like, 8 or 9
Next
days
through,
until the
Z-Wolf
first group
just
play,
about gets behind that rock. I
and they
think
still
if
haven't
Matthew
announced the phone
didn't hit the
for
windowsill there,
PMGC.
it might have been a knock. That's classic PUBG Mobile for you,
Oh,
right? You know,
these
you
songs.
get right up against the windowsill. It looks like your
Wait, why would
crosshairs over the
S2G be
top
here?
side,
If I were them, I would
and
hold this
you
compound.
drop
We
an
call it
entire
Cube. It's
mag
one of the
into
best
dry
compound,
wall.
and it's center zone now.
Splinters of wood flying up in your face to add to your humiliation.
compound.
This is a pretty hard southwest shift. A lot of teams got to break down towards shooting.
This compound is literally the
shooting range
best for
hills
these
here.
type of zones.
You've got to imagine a lot of influence needs to be exerted over this. S2G's
Nobody's
position,
moving.
really
Wow.
nice.
I think Gladiator's
Wow.
going to try and take box. I think they might just try to take
It's like
box
these
here, but
teams
S2G's
don't know
also
how
on the
to
run out.
gather more information.
Be a dangerous team to go up against. Maku, as well as I think that's Kitsune. Are
I saw
far
that you were playing
behind
Wild
on the
Rooms
rotate,
yesterday. Any
STG
chance you can
already
add me
there,
if you
so
will do
you've
more?
left Sanctuary. The Gladiators, this is a
I
bit of
sent a
turn
lot
tail.
of Wild
Try
Room
and
codes
find
in our.
somewhere that's viable
Well,
to play.
Xenox has a WhatsApp group. I have an Instagram channel
Actually
to
goes
post
down for
WoW codes.
Galatasaray.
If you were to follow up on
Across
that,
the way in the
you
meantime,
can.
closer to
We play WoW like
Rostock,
every day.
BRA gonna scrap it on out.
Well,
They're
mainly
gonna find
Xenox
that
is them,
flush
not me.
Novice in.
I barely
Pumping
play.
shells through the window, but not able to connect
It's
onto
better to
Kikali.
start practice with Android
Coursera
device
plays
now.
on the
Yes,
upstairs.
like that's the
Realm is
idea,
low
but we don't
already.
even know what
The
phone
nade
we'll
around the
use.
side could find something if
And
Symphony
only
steps out. He's not
J7
gonna
and
be there
Spec
long
has
enough.
like
Rest of
the
BRA
ROG gaming
ready for the
phone.
backup. A nade in, putting
I
it
don't
through
have
the
an Android
window
phone to
towards
practice
that
with.
staircase. Cooked it nicely, but not really going to find anything.
So I hope they announce it like as soon as possible, so I can start training with it.
Carly on the outside. Kane has been an absolute monster. That nade is a bit of a nasty bouncer. Nade around the side doesn't get much damage done whatsoever. Coursera's still just hanging around over by the water tank.
With the bombardment that BRA is sending in, Galatasaray can't really afford to step out far enough to get those nades up high, which puts Coursera a lot safer on this position. The smoke starting to bloom might give them that freedom to move through and isolate that position, but BRA
It's
is
such a
similarly
weird fight.
using that
Can they find an
to
opening
their
already?
advantage as well. Another bouncer in through the window. Looks for
Come
one
on, you
deep as
naded
well
first
from
for like
Kane.
20 times.
The breakout wide comes through from
Push it.
Kikali as he pops it right the way to the back, and Symphony doesn't quite eat enough damage to go down, but half HP might take another one to the face as well. A high burst towards Realm, and Coursera takes some as well as Lovazin finds the staircase.
That door MVP in this scenario.
Is anyone
Maku
from North gonna
knocks
third
by
party
the Mad
this?
Bulls, should be resable. Technically.
Come on.
Depends how far out he is.
They have that chance. See if the Gladiators can keep the dream alive. Kane
They can
Cooks
use
one.
their. Well, what is this guy doing?
out to the coastline here. He's gone really
They
far
can
away
use
for the
their
off
teammates
angle.
off angle to
to stay in
clear
this
the
one.
house with
Keep
the
your eyes
side,
in.
pushing like this.
I think that's the M249 as well on his back. Wanting to move closer by,
Wow.
and Lovazin has
Nice.
the challenge, but caught stepping up there, and Kane shuts him down. 2 players now for Galatasaray. The upstairs will be isolated and dispatched. Coursera potentially flushed,
Wow.
but Kane is there again, ready to make his mark, and Galatasaray will fall in the face of it. Coursera the only casualty, and that is an easy res. The circle, however, shifts up to the north. Coursera the only casualty, and that is an easy res. The 2-player flush, but Kane is
Wow,
there
T-Stone.
again, ready.
Knocking around in the closet. Scary dude.
Terrifying.
This is like one of the
Terrible
easiest
presence
zones to play for
felt
S2G
by
at this spot.
Galatasaray in the garage, and they will be cowered down by it. A really nice turn up for BRA. Heavy on the early eliminations again. 5 have been found for them. And they're looking to close this tournament the way they started it, Blank, with some high impact games. And they are still chasing next Ruya. They were 17 points behind at the start of this one. That's now shrunk down to 12.
Technically, GG could
Thanks,
qualify if they win like
In
next
that top
2 games
spot,
in a
looking for the
row with
glory, for the
kills.
pride.
They could,
Have taken over the championship.
but it has to be like 2
In the
like
meantime,
big
there's some
wins.
pretty
Well, not
dodgy
big, but it's
scouting
like
going
10 to
on
15
for
kill in a win.
Gladiators. Trying to get the lay of the land so far. Matic.
I could imagine like how like tilt, well not tilted,
You know, I think Gladiators are
but you know like if you're
pleased
playing a
that they
tournament
got
that you
sent
know you're
back
not
away
gonna
from
like
box
win,
compound.
we're not gonna qualify,
This
it's
is
just a
starting
different
to be a
feeling.
really strong position. I think the difficulty for you in this spot on the map is just that because there is a fair few ridges around this compound, you do have sight lines, out towards the eastern side, but you constantly have to be scouting up towards the western edge until it's outside
How's
the
GG
circle.
doing?
And it's a good thing that they are,
They're
because Demuerte,
they're not
Ozrox
gonna
are over
qualify,
the
to be
horizon
honest,
in that location.
unless they pull off some miracle. They
They
have
do
like
have
a
that
30-point gap.
hillside, that ridge that sits
And
around
this is the
compound as
second
well
last
for their
game.
control. Nexus taking a couple of shots
Really?
here from Dagestan,
Sorry.
and their luck might have run dry here in this tournament. They fell down to 10th after the last match, and they need to pick up points here with a chance to be able to make it to PMGC, because Melise have taken that spot that they weren't in at the start of the day and forced it to be a choice between Demuerte and what was Nexus, and now is more likely to be between S2G and Kazakh.
Yeah, scary stuff. I mean, for S2G, they are essentially Ozrox. They're cosplaying Ozrox at this point in time.
Pretty
We're
much.
in their face. Like
The
it was
problem
Halloween.
with a zone like this
Well,
is... Wait,
'Tis the season,
nobody's even
suppose.
blocking this bridge. Why aren't they crossing?
Doran
Like DG or Nexus.
behind the rock for Nexus.
Because the
They're out in
problem with
blue,
these
being
zones
trapped
is
by
S2G
Dagestan.
holding this
Kapahala's
compound
already
will
out.
hard block the bridge. There's no
This
way you can
is
go past the
rough
bridge.
stuff again for Nexus. They haven't been able to make their way through.
So their only chance is
on
to
this
cross
circle.
the
Dagestan are
containers
gonna have
bridge.
to leave at
I don't
some
know
point,
why they're not
though,
even
so
crossing,
maybe they
like
can
both
bide their
teams.
time if they have enough meds, but it's getting
If they're
pretty late
fighting
in the
here,
day,
they're
Blake.
just wasting their time doing nothing.
Indeed. And I think for Dagestan needs to start thinking about moving across, but S2G set up a really nice line of defense around box compound. They've got
Like,
a
I don't
player
know
up
what
in front
DG is
to provide
doing here.
information as teams cross the bridge. They know this is one of the only ways in now from that southern side, so I like this setup coming through from S2G.
Wow.
There we go, EXO gets pulled out the back of the buggy. Redox the last to stand for Nexus. We've seen solos do it before, Blank. We've seen it last match. But I feel like it might be too tall of an order.
He
And
dead.
for the first time,
GG.
are we for the first time in what feels like quite a while, are we going to see a fairly normal circle here on in the European Championships? Regnum Kaya trying to push up towards that plane crash, but next Ruyur are here, and they are not going to go down without a fight, let me tell you.
I mean, for most teams on this western edge, you're really safe, honestly. You don't really need to stick your toes in too often to a lot of the action that's going to occur over towards that eastern side, but there's going to be a big amount of teams all grouping up. Matic, as well as Kitsune, making some wild scouts once again.
Ooh.
And Kitsune gets blown
Ozrox
up.
knocked one
I
off
mean,
GG.
Yeah.
I don't know what they expected from that, honestly. Sort of deserved.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. At this point, it feels like Kitsune is just getting into these
Kitsune
positions
is
where he
dead.
doesn't have the backup, doesn't have the cover, and is almost entirely unnecessary.
Just
It's-
hold the compound.
You've got an incredible ridge line that snakes north, on the north side of that compound. You can play those hills if you don't want to play on the inside, but
Wow.
even just holding those buildings would be better. Demuerte picking up points, good news for their gap hold against S2G. They want to get a little bit further though, see if they could stop S2G from taking that spot away from them. It's BRA getting peppered down by Kazakh team on the east side.
Oh, some nice shots from Mandarin, actually. Hit some good ones over towards Kanina Power on that last match, too, on Sanhok. Dagestan swing down towards the south, and Ozrox look to follow. S2G up
Yeah,
to
no way
5
GG will make it.
eliminations now.
No way.
Looking pretty damn good playing from this south side. They do
GG
have
looks
to
so
head
weird. It's like they're
further
having
upwards.
some internal arguments.
Crazy just runs
Because the
down
way they're
across
playing is like
Sarah.
everybody's doing their own things.
As
It
you
wasn't
do.
like that in the past.
That's just Kakali.
Like
for
back then,
BRA
if GG like
on the
plays
south
something
side.
to at least push together.
And Kazakh team.
But
need to
nowadays
move
it's
past
just
the
like
Mad Bulls. Reflect high up, but hasn't been spotted yet.
Kitsune
There he
doing
is.
his own
In the
things
scope.
all of a
Not gonna
sudden.
go
I
last
don't know.
long when Kakali's on the deck with that 4x, with the M4.
And
If you're
these
not
stones
moving,
are the
you are
easiest for
toast.
S2G playing
That's
from this
exactly
compound. They
how
can
Reflect
easily
feels. The
push
question
up
is,
the
can
hill
Kazakh
and
team
control the
get
entire
up
hill
and get that
from the
res
bottom side.
over on the north side of their position.
One
They
of
have
the
3
best
players
zones for
alive,
this compound to play
once they
for.
get Reflect back up. So we'll see what more they can do. Shots over from S2G towards Dagestan. They've been guarding out on the south side for a long time, Blank.
A long time. Dagestan and Ozrox both holding this ridge side.
This is also a
S2G
really
fly
good
in
zone
towards
for
Dagestan's
Demuerte.
position and immediately taking
If they play this right,
aggressive
it's
approach
a
here.
big game.
Very close position. And look at that, Dagestan finding shots, and S2G maybe biting off a little bit too much, more than they can chew perhaps. So the circle
This
shifts
is
away
a really
from
good
them.
zone for
Lots of
DMR.
casualties on that south side.
As
Both
long as they
weapons like
hold off
Ozrok's
their
getting
south
circle
side,
shifts away from them.
like
Lots of
as long as
casualties
they
on that
hold off
south side.
Ozrok's
Both,
GG
it looks like
and
Ozrok's are gonna
S2G,
take that opportunity to
they can
move
win this
up
game.
towards the Gladiators in the meantime
And
as
it's
well.
not a hard
Black,
hold
the
because
native, the
everybody will be
Kelsey,
fighting each
and
other.
that's S2G
They just
down.
have to third
Great
party and
news for
gatekeep from
Demuerte,
inside
who are
zone.
still alive, still close to that north side. Next
Wow.
Ruya, with the circle shift up towards plane, they will be able to hold as well in a central position.
Yeah, 7 eliminations for SUG is not too bad, but Demuerte just need to get a little bit further into this match. Find themselves something decent. Matic rolls on over towards Major Pride's position. Dino definitely spotted that, but
Why is
decides to
GG
move
full
away.
sending?
Ozrox finds Meku.
I'll allow
Tries
you
to vacate.
I'll allow you to adjust your prediction. We're still on phase 5, Blank, so you can go for this one. I feel like it's unlikely that the Gladiators get much more done here.
No. Gladiators all the way.
Okay, fair enough. Matic wins it solo. Major Pride on the northeast side still.
Major Pride's gonna
against
die.
Malise. Effect
Yeah.
down first. Naomi brought to his knees
Not how you
too.
fight.
Spray down from Lewis, and there's the back line found. Really handily taken by Malise. Sure, there's a knock sent back, but they have enough time, as long as Kanina Power don't roll this one straight on down, to be able to take this through. But Tulika regrouping towards the middle, just setting themselves up for this launch, and Kanina Power are going to take this opportunity to third party. Ophaze careens forwards, and Poser will not be able to hold him off. Kanina Power sweep through, and Malise obliterated.
It's a really nice pickup for Kanina Power over towards Malise as well. You know, keeping that team dragged down over towards that top side of the lobby allows Kanina Power a bit more freedom to catch up, especially on that last game of the day. Mad Bulls out 3 eliminations, 7th place. These games are really
If
starting to
everyone's
heat up
fighting
now.
like this,
Stage 5,
Demuerte
and
wins the game.
already we have
Upload TeamSpeak
only
clips
6
recently.
teams remaining. That is nuts.
I uploaded 1. That's it. It's like the one game that I had a lot of kills.
Demuerte branching down towards the south.
I mean,
Trying
what would
to
you guys
control
even want to
Ozrok's
watch?
Here, but they turn around. Falconist might have a back spray here on the moving vehicle.
Please
but the
knock him
smoke
out of
gives
the
him
car.
cover. Milky Way
Please
may be
hit
able
your
to suppress
shots.
the line from on high,
Bruh.
but he's not turning his attention that way. The rest
Nah.
of Ozrok's not able to find it
Come
either. I think the
on.
vehicle might have lost a tire just there on the spin out, but there's a divot. And Demuerte can hide for a little while longer.
Great news for Demuerte. You know, getting this far, this quickly, as well up to a 6th place. It's so important
What
for
is this
Demuerte.
buggy skin?
Especially with this kind of circle that is just so awkward to play in as well. No compounds, really, whatsoever.
Like, if I upload a
Just forced
TeamSpeak
to
of
play out
us
this
winning,
endgame
but I
with
have like
some
0
really
kills or 1
tricky
kill, what's the
spots.
point? What are you
This
guys
point in
gonna
time,
watch?
Likely teams aren't going to engage against one
Might
another
as well
for
watch it
over,
from
like,
Xenox or something.
1 or 2 circles, probably, depending on how egregious the next shift is on the circle. Ozrok's do lose 1, but should be rezzed up fairly quickly.
On that backside, they're trying to extend their line. You can see them branching towards that Dagestan position. Demuerte currently just trying to find some cover that they can play around those ditches. They were close to that ascending ridge line that's going to allow them potentially a path up towards that crash plane. The next circle shift, all important for the dynamic. That keeps Demuerte on the northwest side. And their chances of holding on to that PMGC spot got a little bit brighter.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous
think they'll
hillside for
win
Demuerte to
DMR.
hold here, but
As
Kanina
long as they
Power
win
comes
the
in
fight
thick and
against
fast.
KP, well, no,
Becca
they don't need
leading
to
the
fight
charge.
KP.
You know what's the most surprising thing is that Kanina Power is here. Considering Becca was on the other side of Narnia at the start of this game, they've been able to regroup. They're playing as a 4. We're over towards the crashed plane, which Nextria is currently taking full advantage of at the moment.
Nextria holding that firm. It looks like Kanina Power deciding where they want to go. At the moment, they're more staged for Nextria's position, but potential that they do just continue to swing and try and sweep through Demuerte on that northwestern side. A tricky hold for either of these two teams. The pace of Kanina Power has really stepped up. They are also in a qualification spot right now. They've already got 4 eliminations.
This guy just did a U-turn and
They're bidding
dipped.
to hold onto this one. A real turn up
Didn't
here
even
in
get
the
shot
European
at.
Championships for Kanina Power, coming through as last seed from the EU
Good
tournament.
information gathering.
Yeah, I mean, it really does go to show like what a couple of good games can do for a team, right? Because at the moment, Kanina Power is extremely warm coming into this last day. They look so good, very impressive on a lot of their rotates. Yeah, their gun skill doesn't really match up to a lot of the other teams in this lobby, but I think it's just that confidence to make the moves at the right time. Alongside with the fact that Palucci, we know, is an extremely good player from back in the day. Of Hayes has proved himself, and now even Becker, technically being one of the best players in the lobby right now, it is astonishing because I think Phase 2 for Kanina Power and PMPL EU, that's where they looked at their brightest and at their best.
I feel like the Murtish should third party this fight. They should see they're fighting with smokes, they should third party this.
And now
They can't do anything on the north. Like they cannot, realistically, they can't kill Kanina Power. So they should third party this fight for more control. Okay, here they come. Too slow though. The Murtish should be faster.
With the down shots towards it. That's Dagestan eliminated. Ozarok still laid quite low from this south side. Temuerte extend into the middle of this next circle blank, and they have a lot of terrain control. Ozarok's waning as well, allows such more mobility on that south flank.
This player from the Murtish should keep flanking towards the low ground to support the fight for these two up front.
Temuerte as a full four-man squad towards the end game, and this is where their power really starts to show itself. And it's a strong location they currently hold with two players on the forefront, two players in the back on high ground, elevated upwards, be able to take some decent shots. And they're just attempting to pen a lot of these teams in, preparing themselves for the next circle. Overall, this should be a fairly easy win. Off the back of a chicken dinner, this would be the back-to-back if they get it. That would be the confirming play for them. Yes, it's last minute. Yes, it's right at the end of the day. But Temuerte would be going to PMGC if they're able to put a good point scoring up here and then just ride things out in that next game on Miramar.
Shots over towards Kazik team from Ozarok. He hits the deck and Storm stays up. Kazik now one player left standing. Zashipa trying to stay alive. And there's the nade to move Storm off the angle to allow this res to facilitate a chance to play on as a duo. With Storm isolated, this greatly slows Ozarok's down as well. They have to not only reposition, but stick that res, get some healing done before they can even start to establish their movement. They have to push up further north, and they've got a tall order to fill.
Nextria almost just lock themselves in a cage here over towards the strip.
Oh,
if
KP pushes...
Becker first to face, and it's Milky Way trying to prove himself once again, but he does go down. Malloy finds Palucci,
if the Murti plays right here, then they will fight KP 100%, and if they fight KP, Nextria will third party them. So what's the point of playing here? If anything, they should give up this top hill, let KP take it, and they can spend this time to clear Ozarok's and Kazakh's, because there are a bunch of solos or duels. So they can control half of the zone, control entire lower ground, and watch KP fight Nextria. But instead, they just positioned themselves in a spot to get stuck between two sides. That was a huge throw. What is this?
An incredible move from Nextria. You can't understate how good Nextria has been in this tournament. I think we've talked about many different teams, but Nextria is always the final boss in most of these circles that you've got to get through. A lot of times they win, a lot of times other teams have to reload the level time and time again before
Which is tough, Americas or MEA?
Removing the health bar from Nextria. And sure, sometimes they lose.
Good question. Americas has more like top teams, like dominant teams, like Loops, A7 is, even Inco in a way. The MEA is more balanced, because Americas you have some like no offense, but NA teams and Latin teams that doesn't even know how to shoot their gun, or rotate, or position. They're just free kills if you farm them properly. So MEA is more balanced. Americas is more of just play to farm the free kills. Put the mic a little bit more far from your mouth. Alright.
Ozarok's have the circle. Nextria will need to push out their way, but with 6 eliminations
MEA has improved a lot this year, to be honest.
Looking to try and take that high ground from them. A nade over to them does take a knock over to Dokkan Machine, but they should be able to get this res before the circle closes. Agori with the challenge, with the chance, but not going to be able to win that one out. It's Yekta spraying it down. Dokkan was flushed, and it's a 3 versus 3.
Ozrox currently at 8 eliminations, not doing too badly for themselves, honestly.
If the Murti cleaned up this whole
I'd like to finish this
Ozrox
game out, but
versus
next Ruya,
Kha'Zix fight,
3v3, I think I know
they should
where
be on the Ozrox
I
spot,
put my
and they
chips
should win the game
in this engagement,
with most of the
especially
zone controlled.
if they
So you
cover the
see, like,
occurring
this
hole, but
one
the circle heading back
decision
down towards that
changes the whole game for like
southwest
every
side
team
does
across
sort of give
the map.
the advantage back over to
Do you know
Ozrox.
Coops
The
personally?
difference
No.
maker, I think, is the majority of death
Hell
crates that
no.
have been left behind on this
Oh no,
side.
how do you get spotted?
Scratch that. It is just the sights
That's a
coming
throw.
through from Z-Wolf. This guy knows.
How does your guy
If
point the
Ozrox
edge?
are able to clutch this back
It's
flank,
not consistent.
they would be within striking distance in
How
the
do you
final
think the
game.
NA team going to do in
That Miramar would
PMGC?
be all important for them on their own
NHP?
merit, not
Mm,
even off the back of S2G. But
don't
against next
credit
Ruya,
me
gotta
ounces,
think
but
your time
I've
is limited
heard
here.
NHP
here's my
will
new impression
not
of
play
Ozrox.
with their full starter
You rubbish
roster.
S2G, I'll do it myself.
It's hard to tell because NHP
Oh dear.
has,
They put that Infinity Gauntlet on.
well, has an
They will try
above
and do it
average in
themselves.
terms of
They do
rotation.
have the center of the circle here.
Because after all, they have a lot
Lacking a
of
bit in
knowledge
nades.
from the
Next
Chinese
Ruya
scene.
wanting the trades. I wonder if they have any ordnance of their own. You can see the smokes now
NHP
being
is weird.
equipped.
I never
Pull
really
out the
played against
bags.
them this year.
Swain close by. Drops a smoke
So
out
I can't
wide.
really
like
tell.
that.
Could bait things away.
Yeah, it's a smart move, but this smoke train is really silly. Frozen just peeking over the top. This is probably one of the only locations that you could realistically be. And he's
No!
revealed himself.
That trace was, like,
Z-Wolf
perfect.
survives, Frozen
Oh,
moves on.
no.
That's Swain down. One final player to deal with, but MG3 is
Wait, no way he
dangerous.
won me serious, right?
He's got the open ground in front of him. Frozen trying to find the shot, and he
No.
will find one, but that's it. Excellent pair play.
And he's revealed himself. Z-Wolf survives, Frozen moves on. That's Swain down. One final player to deal with.
If this guy
but
knocked
MG3
this guy with the first peek, he actually might be able to win the game. Because this guy is super far. Fuck. This guy is super far, he can't help. If he knocked the first guy with no damage taken, win the peek against second one, now it's a 1v1. He could actually win. I've seen too much like 3v1s getting thrown. Also,
Yeah,
this
they
guy
do
had a
have the
really
center
good
of the
thought
circle here.
process. He threw a decoy
Their own.
smoke
Drops a
on the right,
smokes now being
like
equipped.
this,
Pulled out the bags.
to bait
Swain
next Rhea
close by.
thinking he's snaking
Drops a
more
smoke
further
out
right.
wide.
like that.
Could bait things
And
away.
in reality, next Rhea
It's a smart
did
move,
walk
but
past him,
this
but
smoke train
he shot
is
too early. He shot the car instead of them running.
And he's revealed himself. Z-Wolf survives, Frozen moves on. That's Swain down. One final over the top. This is
If
probably
I'm
one of the
here,
only
I wouldn't
locations
shoot the
that you
car.
could
I would
realistically
shoot the
be.
people running.
And he's revealed himself. Z-Wolf survives, Frozen
He
moves
had
on.
he
That's
had a really good
Swain
idea.
down. One final
Trying to find the final go with an all-important match. Muerte get a lot done this game, but maybe not as much as they would have liked. It looked like they had it under control, but they stepped too far into the fire and they get burned.
It feels like, if anything, next Ruya is just sort of trying to make this championship as entertaining as possible, all the while just absolutely dunking on everyone in the lobby, because the more points they take away at the top, the more volatile it's getting towards those middle stages of the leaderboard. It's seriously crazy stuff. Storm from Ozrox, we know this guy is good. 1,000 damage total is lovely. Tumwete could have probably squeezed a little bit more out of that game, but it's an awkward engagement for them to take between Kanina Power and themselves. I think that's likely a situation where you really would like to try and back that one up a bit, but you don't have much choice in that situation. So either Kanina Power crashes onto next Ruya, or they crash down over towards Demuerte. And I think Kanina Power decided that that was the highest points potential for themselves. Remember, at the end of the day, both those teams just want to secure a better position up the top of the leaderboard.
You've also got Ozrox putting in a bid to try and clamber their way up last minute, but it's a very tall order indeed. We'll have to wait and see who's going to be able to take this hole all the way home, but for that we need the ultimate match, and for that we need to head back over to the desk first.
Do you want to?
EXO gets
By knocking around in the closet.
far enough to get isolated for BRA.
Carly on the outside. Kane has been an
Not gonna lie, this is like one
absolute
of the worst fight I've watched for a while. Like, call me crazy for this. If I'm BRA and I have a buggy, I would just drive around the outside of the building in the smokes to get information and also hopefully run a guy over. If I do this, I can clear the entire outside so my teammates can push inside. This fight just took too long, to be honest. They should get third partied.
There.
3,000 damage, 10 eliminations on the day.
He's got what?
He's pretty good at video game.
3.1k damage on the day. Okay, we still have 1 game to go to.
On the day, you say?
On the day.
Wow. He just started.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think we're all pretty convinced as well that Zeal will probably be the MVP as well of this whole event because if I'm not mistaken, James, you look at his damage before, he's got like 2,000 or 3,000 damage more than anyone else in this
Yeah, correct. He was number 1 ahead of Becker. Quite considerably here. Becker's had a great tournament. Look at that. Kanina Power with more points on the board, but yeah, nobody's standing up to Z-Wolf here.
This is good stuff, Max.
Just calculating, but it's taking a
Calculating,
while,
okay.
as you would expect.
Yeah, well, S2G give themselves 7 points. Demuerte 6. So S2G claw back the lead, or claw it back by 1 point, but it's still going to come down to this final game between these two teams and Ozorox. I mean, yeah, they're starting to perform here on the final day.
Yeah.
Well, for Ozorox, it's too late to get in,
Oh,
at
yeah.
least through their own volition.
Yeah.
However, S2G could still make that dream come true.
Ross still got 6 eliminations this game, so that's, again, with the previous game they just had over on the K finish. This is keeping them relevant for that second place. I'm intrigued to see the leaderboards, if it's possible to catch up to Bra. I think one really good game from a team in 3rd or 4th could make it happen, but I think top 2 might just be locked in here.
Yeah, well, let's actually take a look here. If you're talking about top 2, let's talk about the bottom of the table, right? Because that's where my focus is. We pretty much know... What? What's wrong on the bottom of the table?
That's a rough topic.
I'm talking about 7th, 8th place.
Oh,
Let's take a look.
Oh, bottom of 1st.
Take a look at their stats here on the day. And obviously, Demuerte not with too many eliminations. However, Demuerte getting the placement points, thinking back to Sanhok with a 10-point chicken dinner with 0 eliminations, whereas S2G got 16 elims on the day so far. So it's tough. S2G have every opportunity right now to pull it back here for Turkey, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, S2G able to get himself a few decent points this game because we had a normal circle somewhat, not in a really weird location. So they were able to play himself a cube location, gatekeeping teams like Nexus, etc. So off the back of that, get themselves decent eliminations. But from that point onwards, going uphill against teams are already on location, on site, is always going to be tough. So they made the most out of it while they could, and then outside of that rotation was always going to be tough to go.
Yeah, Chaos came in and tried to cause some chaos here for S2G, but they did all right for themselves as they moved on up. And again, BRA, yeah, a few moments here and there, but it's not been quite the amazing day for them as it was in the past couple of days. So, but it can be forgiven. I mean, obviously they're still up towards the top of these tables.
Just watching Razy just run over that player, just like he really wanted to slow down, try to get the correct angle, pushed him up against the car to really make sure he's eliminated. You see Kelsey here. You know, I actually kind of must say Kelsey's been a little bit underwhelming, but then again, SG's been a little bit underwhelming this whole event because we know how strong they can be. They were second place in PMPL, but obviously coming in with a completely different mentality than every other team who wasn't qualified for PMGCO.
I think we're talking about the circles being really tough for central split teams like Rainbow Kara, and then S2G is, of course, one of the teams in that situation. But Next Rare is the living proof, the embodiment of the fact that you can have awful circles and make it work somewhat. So here, they just get themselves a clean finish, and you were talking about it at the end of that game. Next Rare, not doing that typical mistake, going 1 by 1, getting multiple angles around the tree. You're making 100% sure you're locking down that game.
Yeah, they're making plays look pretty simple on their side of things. Again, they're winning games that are edge plays, they're winning games that are compound plays, and as you say, with that situation, there has been actually many times where a solo has beaten out a 3-man because they've given them constant 1v1s, 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 especially with an MG3,
yeah, exactly,
which can make it happen. But here, They're like, absolutely not. We'll take every angle around that tree. It doesn't matter which angle you hide on that tree. You're always going to be vulnerable from one, and we will take you down.
Well, don't forget about the nice smoke wall they put down as well before they even did push out their position.
Good move, yeah.
No gaps in it.
Chef's kiss from Max.
It was beautiful. I love that. Oh, thank you so much. And able to get himself the buggy kick-started too.
Not quite patchy as Bra was. Before,
This is how you do a smoke, bro. This is how you don't do
Exactly. Let's take a look at our overalls here for, well, our guess technically the second to last time of the day of the event. Next, Ruya, 33 points ahead. Bra going to be sitting at about 15. Yes, 15, 17.
17 points. Yeah.
You know what? It's late.
I mean, they win the tiebreaker too right now, Mad Balls, with 4 chicken dinners. So
Yep.
17 on the dot. If Brad don't have a good game, it could happen. But Brad, we've seen it many times throughout today. They're going to get a few
So
eliminations.
basically,
So
Major
you really
Pride
want
is
a big
the
win with
goalkeeper?
at least 20, 25 points if you want to have a chance for Mad Balls to maybe snatch away that second spot.
Well, it's still the battle of 7th place right now for
Yep.
Duarte and S2G. It is going to be an 8-point difference, technically 9 for S2G since they lose on the chicken dinner
Hi
head-to-head.
Star, how are you?
It is
Hi,
100%
Afro-Ape.
doable for S2G.
I'm
It's going to be
chilling.
a Miramar, of course, but Colors,
Can't wait to
I'm a little
see
bit scared.
who's
I'm looking
gonna
at you
qualify
and
into
you're
our
giving me a look
PMGC
like-
group.
SUG could do this. In theory, could do this. It's kind of close, eh?
Yeah, I'm
This
liking it
is,
that it's this close 4 spot into PMGC. Like sometimes you know
KP
a
it
little
will
bit
come to
technically
your
9 for
group.
S2G since they lose on the chicken dinner head-to-head.
No, I don't think so. It should
is
be
100% doable
Belize.
for S2G. It's going to be a Miramar, of course.
because
but
it's the
Colors,
number
I'm
4
a little
team
bit
from
scared. I'm
Europe,
looking at
but
you and
Maples
you're
take a
giving me
slot,
a
so
look
it's gonna be
like-
number 5.
SUG could do this. In theory, could do this. It's kind of close. SUG could do this.
a little bit scared. I'm looking at you and you're giving me a
So
look
it's
like...
wait,
SUG could
hold
do.
up.
I'm a little bit scared. I'm looking at you and you're giving me a look like...
No, because
SUG
Europe.
could do this.
Fuck,
In
let me see.
theory, could do this.
I actually forgot about it.
It's kind of close, eh?
Yeah, I'm liking it that it's this close 4 spot into
What was
PMGC.
the
Like
rule?
sometimes you know a few games in advance, it's down to the last game, it's down to the wire for these guys. And yeah, I'm really hyped to see if they can make it happen because Ozrocks are close too.
Yeah,
actually.
look how technically close all of the rocks ended up to
Yeah.
striking distance. It's too late now for them to do it again of
Okay,
their
I
own
can't
volition.
find
It's
the
up to
post
SUG
anymore
to
for like
make
the
something happen
PMGC
here
groups.
for them. For
Please
okay.
S2G qualifiers.
But I'm pretty sure it's the number
Well,
4
let's find
team
out if they
in
will
EU.
indeed make it happen here with our final
EUC.
match of PMPL EU champs over on Miramar.
With one more chance, one last ride over Miramar. Every
Yeah, it's
single
the
team around that
fourth
bubble
team
is
in
looking for that
European Championship.
opportunity. They said it was too late for Ozrocks to do it on their own. I mean, it's unlikely, sure, but they're only 19 points behind Blank. They're only 19 points behind that bubble with a big game. Who knows? Anything could happen.
It would definitely require both Kazakh team and Duarte to really do not so great here to get in. Also,
Looks like
S2G
next we're going to make top 3
would
in
have to
your
do
group.
pretty poorly as well. There is a world though, John. There is a
Well,
world
it's gonna be the
where
number 4
S2G
placement team
moves up into
from
7th,
EUC,
right?
but Maples takes a
Ozrocks
slot.
moves up into 8th.
Okay.
Regnum Karya gets it.
Yeah. So right now it's KP.
Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. No.
But yeah, next Ria
Ozrocks
already
get it.
has a slot in our group. I forgot about that.
You don't. Because... Wait. Yeah, no, 7th place is a qualification spot to the league stage, right?
Yep.
So if S2G are in 7th place, 8th place
Ozrocks,
doesn't qualify.
8th.
No, 8th place doesn't qualify.
How
S2G get the spot, but Ozrocks get it because of the rules.
Right, okie dokie. So that would be the most legitimate win for Ozrocks.
I love how they add a
Well,
rule
it's
like
not the
3
most
days
legitimate.
before the
them to
tournament, I
get
think, or 2
ahead,
days.
Right?
And
Yeah.
even the
Yeah,
casters
I
are
know what you
confused.
The least illegitimate.
You love to see
Something
it.
like that. Let's go
Yeah.
with that. I feel like the best way for them to do it would just be to have a massive game here, right,
Yeah.
and qualify on their own merit. That would be
And
the
this
best
is
way
the
for
rest
them
in
to
peace
qualify
for
in my
GG.
mind. The most
They are not
worthy.
making it.
Let's put it that way. Yeah, so but if S2G get up into 7th, that puts Ozrocks essentially in that 7th place. Because remember, S2G are Ozrocks cosplayers in this tournament right now.
That's correct. They're wearing the costume. It is sort of crazy to me that we're looking at S2G with 27
MVP.
placement points.
Oh, that puts Ozrocks essentially in something like that. By my mind, the most worthy.
Is eliminating
Probably.
Duarte
Because
ending off
apparently damage
against the
is a lot.
Ron in
No
his
way.
prime.
in the gunfights. So
He steps out. champions of the world. S2G, but Tixi might be able to do their job for them. He steps out.
Does he not know?
Cut down.
For the Gladiators.
And there's GS?
S2G may have qualified to PMGC, but even with Gladiators, nothing left to give to get into PMGC. They still find a way to give back to the EU region.
And they have been such a force across this region for so long. Their dynasty might be over here, though, even if they're able to pick up all these points. Blank, they currently sit
Why is
on
everybody
97
letting here?
points. It's 7th place right now, assuming nobody above them gets any points. It's 135 is the bubble. That puts them at a massive 38-point deficit. They would need a 29 elimination game, Blank, to be able to get ahead by 1 point, which they would need to be able to beat Demuerte. It's not happening. It's definitely not going to be able to happen here. There is no chance for them, but it's all for pride here on Miramar.
It is all for pride here on Miramar going forward. Not an easy run for a lot of teams. For Demuerte, a stressful run at that. I'm curious to see exactly what they can get done here, John. I'm excited as well, being our final match of the day.
And that's how it's so close for these crucial spots on the 24th match of this 4-day tournament. These teams around the bubble still sit in danger. We talk a lot about that 7th place right now, about Demuerte in this spot, but Major Pride, Melise, Kanina Power, all of whom are not safe. If there are strong games coming through from Demuerte, from S2G, even from Kazakh, there is a chance that these teams fall out of grace.
Oh, KP
fall out of those top spots. So as time goes on during this match, we'll try and keep you updated as to which teams become less and less vulnerable. But right now, the major chase is S2G to Demuerte. Kazakh off on that backside as well, just behind them. They will look for that chase. 126 points for Kazakh team, 127 for S2G, 135 for Demuerte. Regnum Kaya, they've had glimmers of hope. They are a strong team. We've seen their roster perform, but just not here, not when it's mattered. 115 points, 12th place right now for Regnum Kaya. And they are going to send over towards Chimasera. Major Pride currently in that location. And they will look to try and hold it out. Major Pride, again, a team that just wants to hold on to their top spot.
Look, during this entire tournament, try and keep themselves in with a chance here. And I would be so sad to see them go out.
Wait, chat, who was the regional champion for Turkey?
With this
Was it Ozorox or Melise?
It's that extra little bit of luck that they were looking for. Kazakh team and Kanina Power equally close towards this circle to be able to get in.
It's all on
Melise,
S2G.
okay.
Can they chase? They are close to Melise right now. They will look to try and keep
Teams go crazy for last game.
For Melise. Ozorox.
They do a lot of like kill
Potential
stuff.
shots over to
Place
Graxy.
for
He's
kills.
waiting for that team shot by the looks of it. They're getting into position.
Oh,
and there's the go
no.
scene. Immediately, as soon as they have that shot, they call it. That's one dead Galatasaray player. They've already lost one
GS already
to
lost 2
the
players.
Gladiators, who've managed to find 2 points so
Oh,
far.
they're
Simply
fighting GG.
might be burning up next. He's on that top spot. Laid open here and still upstairs with the double barrel. It's Tixi with the 2-shot. He's going to descend though, get back in with the rest of the team as Symphony puts an 8 out through the window. They don't think he's got any more, and out wide he goes. Again, Tixi with that challenge, with the success, but Lovazin's there to maybe get an answer. The last player for Galatasaray might have found a player from Gladiators, but they should be able to survive here.
Wait,
The question is
coming to
Ozorox.
third party?
They have moved now into
Damn.
that position to the south flank.
How they have. And honestly, the way that Gladiators are currently rotating, it looks to be cutting off some of the players from Ozorox anyway. Symphony, final one to go
Wait, there's
down,
no way GG
Gladiators
gets
have a
like, what,
warpath
6
secure
30 kills?
the place here
Or 5?
for
And then wins the
EU.
game
I'm
with like
loving it.
20 or 30 kills, right? There's
Getting
no
ready,
way.
Galatasaray.
I've never seen this in
Denials
PUBG
are
Mobile
the
history.
chance to
No,
earn some points as well.
no
If they
shot.
swing wide on this one, they are doggedly in their pursuit.
This guy about
Meku
to, this
leading
GS
that
guy about
charge
to
in
die to
the
play
buggy.
zone
Lovazin
or car
running
crash.
for his life.
He's dead.
Desperately trying to crash into a building, but he draws short. He hasn't got that healing coming through, but he takes one with him. The buggy slams straight back into him, and the play zone takes him down. This is resible for the Gladiators. Ozorox are chasing this as well. It's chaos over in the water treatment.
It absolutely is. 3 eliminations right now for Gladiators. But I mean, for Ozorox, this has sort of delayed them a little bit, right? S2G also losing a player to Gladiators. This is the Protectors. The Angels of Justice coming through from the Gladiators.
It is rough stuff here. The next Ruya, they are smiling right now with such a
Ozorox is
lead.
setting
Blank,
up for
they
them.
have 33
Wow.
points ahead. It is nigh on unbeatable. BRA would need magnificence.
That's actually smart where
to
they
shine
set up
from
the hills
every
towards their entry to
single
zone.
place
Wow.
to be able to blind the rest of the lobby to get these frags that they need to do it, and they've already taken a knock. That's to S2G though, over on that northeast side with the circle going over towards the Chumasara Hills. S2G may be able to pick up a point or two, but Kelsey goes down, and it's Kane on the inside. You do not want to face this man in the ring. He is terrifying. He will burst through the door with Hamzy G on the burn, and the knock on the backline for BRA can get rezzed.
Nade looks to try
I
and
was gonna
bounce
say
it
that's a
off the
good nade if
window,
he
but
threw it inside the
a little
window.
bit too hectic there. Kelsey still down on bended knee. Nice nade that comes through. Razy takes a huge amount of damage there.
The self-made flush, and BRA are taking S2G down.
Oh
Blank.
my.
This could be it. This could be the chance for Duerte to hold on. One player on the inside, and S2G fall early. 1 point earned. They have not crossed that threshold. Blank, it's up. The self-made flush, and BRA are taking S2 side, and S2G fall early. 1 point earned. They have not crossed that threshold. Blank, it's up to Kazakh team. It's up to Ozorox themselves if they want this challenge, but they've just taken a knock on the north, and it's the Gladiators, the defenders of Europe, to take that first blood.
Oh my days, BRA from Turkey takes down their brethren, does not allow another one in. They are cutthroat, but EU, they've got each other's backs right now. Falconist knocked, flushed. Ozorox wanted to go further. Gladiators realized they've got nothing left to lose.
And they will start the afterburn now.
Oh shit, that's a
Swain,
good
though,
nade.
wants to slow it down,
Why
finds a
not?
nade knock, and Meku caught on the cross. It's sloppy again from the Gladiators. We've known it for a while. It has not been them that has been playing. It is a different team. They have not performed to the standard that we've wanted, and now it's just Tixie left alone, left destitute in sorrow.
Wait, so did Nexus
for the
qualify
Gladiators,
as number
who will
7?
not be able to make it. Ozorox, though, have been taken
This Euro
for
is
one
so
of their
confusing.
players. Falconist is down. They have a long road ahead of them if they want to make this qualification spot, but Blank, Kazakh is the outside chance here to chase for Duarte.
Chaos take down Tixie. And we bid farewell to Gladiators for eliminations. But they have slowed Ozorox down. They weakened S2G enough to be taken down by BRA. If Ozorox go down in the next 3 to 5 minutes, we can safely say that is due to Gladiators putting up one final hurrah.
A monument to their own suffering. Facing the way of Europe, holding their nerve for them. That line shall not be crossed. Not by a Turkish team this time. And Duarte able to be on that vanguard, on that bubble. And Blank, the only other team that's realistically within striking distance outside of Ozorox are EU teams. Kazakh, the closer of the two. They started 126 to the 135 of Duarte. And below that, it's Nexus, 116 to the 135 of Duarte. Two strong teams in their own right. We've seen a lot from Kazakh team playing under that Alpha banner over in the European stage, coming through, developing, improving, showing a lot of talent, a lot of prospect. But they might have too long of a road ahead of them here. Still doable. but a challenge as Demuerte are still alive themselves.
I think right now, if we close things down, I would be pleased with the players that we're sending from EU through to the PMGC. A total of 4 teams to the measly 3 from Turkey.
All right, okay, fair enough. And they got the home country invite as well. So, so there you go. That's quite the turn up. We'll take the victory there. We're saying Turkey looked pretty difficult to handle, but it seems like EU has found a way. Of Hayes finds Nexus, south side of the Chumacera Hills near Minas de Valle. And remember, Nexus with a long chase to go, but still doable with a 19-point gap that they could find. A little bit of chaos for Kanina Power as Redox capitalizes. Ross straight on up, finds one, doesn't go down just yet. Another knock over to the Kanina Power backlines, and Palucci and Becker against Nexus are the only 2 to hold strong. Palucci behind the vehicle, Kapahala in the backlines fades away, and there's the turn. Doran dominates over Kanina Power on the south side. 4 points for Nexus. Are they on the road to that bubble spot?
The roller coaster went up, but at some point it had to come
The
down.
only thing I hope for is
Well,
the
is
Murte doesn't
this
get
the
into our group.
incline once again as we
But
slowly
right now,
rat-tat-tat up that
KP
roller
just died.
coaster for Nexus. They're on the south side. It's not easy for them. Ozarok still have a chance here. Obviously, 4 eliminations. It's a good start to their elimination count, but they're all the way up.
The Murte lands
northwest
Mountain
side with
Nuevo
just
on
3
Miramar. We
players
also want to
looking
enter.
to move
So
through
it's gonna
some
be
of the
a
more
drop spot
dangerous
clash.
ground around Chumacera.
Mad Bulls spot Demon from Chaos. This is on the southwest side. They'll look to push through Major Pride after this one. Or maybe not through them, but certainly have to navigate them. Next, Ruya have spotted a player from Nexus, and that's Exo to fall. So Nexus with 3 now on their bid for the bubble. But through it all, Demuerte holding some hills on the northwest side, relatively uncontested.
BRA. The executioners
The
from
Murte has
Turkey
a really
looking to
good
move
spot
up
for this zone
towards
too.
Ozarok's position, and Swain is dangerously
That's
close.
the moment like Mad Bulls,
Storm
Chaos,
moves in.
and MP starts fighting
One of the
that
greatest
cluster.
players on this team
DM
looks to
are
try
third
and
party
hold
some
it
for
down,
free.
but the shots coming
And also
from
they
all
can
over the
farm
place.
the entire Chumacera.
Might be a knock over towards BRA. Tospic still in the
So
back
if,
there. Yeah,
like on
Kakali
paper, if they
is
place
down.
this game
That's
properly,
Coursera.
this is another game with
Up
at least like
close
8 kills for
versus
them.
these players.
And
Some
good
nice
placement.
shots from the backstop. The UMP is pumping, but it's
What am
not
I watching?
enough.
Tospic on the
Ozarok's
reload.
are desperate for it.
6 eliminations now, Blank. BRA, they're trying to take out all of Ozarok's path to victory here. They took out S2G, and now they're trying to take Ozarok's out, but the order just too tall. And Tospic sends away 3 players from Ozarok's, enough to handle business against BRA. Are Regnum Kaya, another Turkish team, going to extend their way out and try and control Ozarok's themselves? Is anybody going to be able to get out of the way of this team other than the Gladiators?
Chaos not looking in the greatest position. A Milky Way would love to pick himself a couple of eliminations for himself from this spot. Matcap and Slay not in an ideal position. Party bus basically been the only thing between them and death. Major Pride also looking to get involved.
A real rough circle, Blank. We know how treacherous these hills to the southwest of Chumacera are. Demuerte trying to slowly move across them, but dealing with chaos will allow them to move forwards a little bit safer. Major Pride
Other
in
Regnum
a
Kara
really
was
strong
player.
high ground position in Minas de
And they're
Valle.
holding inside Chuma.
Such a difficult position to move around as well. The high ground that they possess. So much control of the southwest side.
Storm got taken down there by Azel. Died to the play zone.
And
Two
Chaos
players
is like
now
dead.
on
Just-
the
they're just
low
gonna get
ground
farmed.
with Malise Esports as well as Regnum Kaya looking over towards that spot. Eventually they'll have to push further in. You can see them now. The spray comes through. One's out. It's Sephir. He's down. The buggy moves up towards the top side. Last chance saloon right now. But as one player, it is so unlikely
He
to
is so
happen.
lucky.
He's barreling his way through.
Wow.
Corker's got a sight line as well.
Outside and he's back
Only
there
the one
still
player
safe.
on Demuerte
Wait,
there,
no
but
way.
it might just be enough. Swain,
No
a
way.
hail of bullets to end the run for Ozarok's. They will
Was
not be
gonna
able to
say.
make it here, and we have reduced the number of teams that can make it. Demuerte defending now against Kazakh. the only chasers left in the running here. Nexus with an outside chance, but it is very, very unlikely. Next Ruya in the meantime handling Dagestan on the cliffside. This is the champions. These are the players that will be leading the charge. They've already qualified on PMGC points blank, but they wanted more, and they have achieved it here. Next Ruya on the southeast side. Nobody can catch them up at this stage. There is no one left. BRA are out, and nobody can find that in the back pocket. It's just not going to happen. Next Ruya will be taking this.
And what a wonderful game that they've played this entire tournament.
Like here's the
Nexus
Murtaugh fights
take some
Regnum
more shots
Karya,
that way.
Major Pride fights
They're
Mad
currently
Bulls.
sat at 3 players, 5 eliminations.
Whoever
but you're
wins
right.
their fight
Next
quicker
Ruya,
gets to
it's
third
just
party the other
impossible
side.
to topple them at this point in time. But the Gladiators, I mean, it's so bittersweet, honestly. I thought it would be sad saying goodbye to this team, but even at the end, they still maintain a little bit of character versus a lot of these teams, basically condemning Ozorox to an unsatisfying defeat alongside with the one limb over towards S2G, which makes it all the easier for BRA to remove those final players, allowing more EU teams to get through towards PMGC.
They're in with that chance. Nexus taking a couple of nades though, and Doran is low. 2 players for next Ruya, but they're backed off. Kapahala being a long-range backstop, keeping Frozen away at arm's distance from Doran. They can keep that ping going on through. The hills shrinking on towards Muerte with the west side of it, moving on this undulating terrain. Now they have a decent counterpoint to that Minas de Valle position for Major Pride. They have cover from that direction. They're onto some high ground. And Major Pride going to have to leave a little bit closer to them. They'll like this valley. They lose a bit of sightline down to that south, but Major Pride should be able to cover that off.
It's a nice, strong spot here for Muerte right now. And Corker, honestly, one of the players on this team that I didn't think I'd be talking too much about, but his long-range engagements are absolutely phenomenal. Seriously scary to come up against. Doran looks down towards next Ruya. The boys are in a ditch. It's unlikely they're getting out. And versus Doran,
Wow.
one of our primo players from EU, unlikely they're getting away from this one.
Discipline from Doran as well. He steps back.
Very good discipline.
Tap, tap, and Frozen's
He actually
down.
popped the
That's
heal
next
before he
Ruya out.
peeked.
7 eliminations for Nexus. This is strong,
Good
but
discipline.
Blank and Muerte still alive. And they are extending that lead with 2 points. It would need a 21-point game to draw level, 22 to exceed, and Duarte have the chicken dinner tiebreaker, so they would need 22 points. That's 12 eliminations and a chicken dinner. To be fair, Nexus probably in one of the better spots to be able to find it, but Duarte need to go down now.
I think for Nexus, honestly, this position they're currently in, fighting uphill like this is going to be hell for them. So for Nexus, although they have had one of the most astonishing breakout performances over in day 3, I think this might just be where their journey ends. But I think it's been a fantastic journey to follow from Nexus, from start to finish, from roster change to secret sub, EXO coming in, showing the world what he's made of. I think next year is going to be a very, very bright year for Nexus in general.
I think for EU in general as well, the talent that's developed there this year has really started to shine. And I'm hoping it's only uphill from this point, but Turkey as well. What an incredible set of teams they've sent to this tournament. We've seen such powerful play coming through from this region, commanding in the form of next Ruya.
Why would the Murtaugh give up the hill to Regnum Karya?
S2G as
just
well.
to go sit in
Sure
the
they lack the
open dip?
placements, but they take a fight like very few other teams. Circle central. Muerte cut in with a slice of it again, and they have been given that opportunity to hold once more on that bubble line.
It's such a tough circle to play on this one, actually, just because you sort of want to take center here, but you can't really do it considering the teams on the outside still have a bit of high ground to work around with. Kazakh still have sight lines through down towards that south side, but for Muerte, they are the most likely to be able to hit up a position in the center. Milky Way's already
scout it out, but they can't leave until Major Pride is done. They can't leave until these fights on the northern side have concluded. Right now, Regnum Kaya currently going up against Malise.
Looking pretty good for
If
1-for-1.
Malise
but
push like
Regnum Kaya
this,
losing a player,
Kha'Zix is
3
nexting up to
eliminations.
third party.
Malise, again, they came through as surprise champions from Turkey. And it looks like they're on track to claim a spot
wondering
in
same
PMGC
thing.
League stages as
For
well,
what?
Blank.
Oh, yeah.
A very strong showing from this roster
For
that
the Murti.
I don't think too many people would have expected much from coming into that league stage, especially after what we saw over in PMWI, a little bit lackluster. This season has been great to them.
Demuerte makes the run. CEO later gets taken down by a nade. A great one over the top there. Major Pride off in the distance. Right now for the guys on Demuerte, they should
Nice,
keep their heads
good
down.
flank.
Wild
Good
spots a
off-angle.
wild vehicle.
Wait, why would he
Careening
stop?
off the left-hand
Oh,
side.
never
If he just didn't have the nade
Never
out in
mind.
hand, maybe he would have gone for the spray
It's time
down.
for the rest of the
Couple
Malise
shots
players to
outside
push.
the circle here, John.
He's going to have
Because
to
your
move forward,
off-angle is
you're
not
right.
even in zone.
The res can come through onto CEO later.
Hurry
You've got
up.
Lewis there for it. They can enact that res. In the meantime, Demuerte have gone central. You said it was a risk, but they've decided to take it. And hopefully it'll pay off for them. With Nexus still on that chase,
Here
the
comes
placement
Major
points
Pride.
are going to start to add up at this
So
stage.
if the
I think
Murti
it
is really
23
smart,
points,
once they
23 point
realize
match
Major
for
Pride
Nexus.
joins the
If
fight,
Demuerte go
they
down
should
right
go
now,
out and counter push to get their
this
edge control
northwest
back.
side concludes an aid from Major Pride.
That's their
Who have
only
waded
way
straight
to
into
like
this fight.
win the game.
And they will
It's
be
if
able
they
to
clean
take
up
down
this whole
quite a few,
cluster.
but at the cost of Naomi getting a knock, and Malise might be able
So
to
I
conclude them here.
understand if
There's much
they
to be
don't
the
want to
chance
hold
that
it
Malise
to
was
fight
waiting for
Regnum
get
Karya
back
right
into the
away,
engagement. They take
because they might get
higher
third party from the
position.
back.
Try and aggress with this
But
one.
nah,
CEO
now they're just
later
dead.
and kiss you with nades over towards
No.
the vehicle. Naomi just has to back
It's
off.
like
not
they're on
likely
to
be able to help out.
like the
Lewis
qualification
gets
line and they're
rammed
scared
by the vehicle
because they're just
there.
playing
Effect
passive,
taking no
which is a
prisoners.
dangerous like
Just rolling
stop.
straight on through the ranks. As Dino goes down and CEO later with the DBS on the hillside. Doesn't fall prey to the bumper as his teammate did. Maybe his teammates will get flushed away, and 2 players from Major Pride now flushed back.
Effect
It's
no
2
me
versus 2,
versus
but
two
Kisyu
Malise
spotted.
players.
An off angle from Kha'Zix. A nade over the top from CEO later. An effect might go down, but no, they can control him. UMP this range, good for 1 and good for the spray. Kha'Zix are looking to third party. In the meantime, Blank, Demuerte have lost a player. Kha'Zix are looking to move out from their location and could prove to be a problem as Nexus look for the crunch. Placement points will start to increase now, and every time it does, every team that falls, Nexus need more and more and
Like, they're
more.
not even playing the shack.
It's
They're
such a
just playing
confusing
the
situation as well as
what?
Redox and Doran head up towards the top side. They take down one of the players from
How is
Demuerte,
this
look
any
for a bit
playable?
more. They might be able to leapfrog this position. This has not been easy for them whatsoever. Redox is
Watch
down.
them
They
watch them
desperately need to
goose
get it
the
back up again
qualification
if they
slot
want to
because they're
win
playing
this
like
game.
this.
It's impossible without more than 3 players.
With Zashipa on the angle that he is, they can go for the res on Nexus. Malloy and
Also, I
Conker have
hate how
Reflect to handle.
PMPL doesn't show the live scores.
If Demuerte fall down
Actually,
here,
so
Blank,
annoying.
if they go down in the midst of it all, with Nexus pushing in from the south, with the Mad Bulls further on that southwest flank, there is a chance that Nexus take that spot away from them right at the last. They just need a few more points to be able to do it, and Nexus will need the chicken dinner. They would need to win through it all to be able to take this one home.
Such an interesting turn of events here for Demuerte. Right now, currently at 135 points. They need to leapfrog ahead of Major Pride. That's not likely. Or at least get ahead of Malise Esports, but also unlikely. They need more elimination points. But there's a lot that can change, and I think that the desk is going to have a real fun time breaking this one down after this game concludes, because we have some of the heaviest of hitters
Why did
here
the
in this
Nexus
final
player
match.
leave the back so
And
early?
I can hear the clinking
Oh,
away
Major
of
Pride
the
sees it.
roller coaster as it goes higher right now, as Nexus, in their final throws of this tournament, are pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
But not only that, Kha'Zix team,
Okay.
remember, still on the chase as well. On
Now
this
the
north
Murti is gonna
side,
get
they
farmed
have 1
by
elimination now, but
Nexus.
they're into the top 4. They started this match, Blank, sat 9 points behind Demuerte. This is looking pretty solid for them. And with Nexus still going, 11 eliminations. There are 2 teams now that could take this away from Demuerte. They are hiding for their lives.
Wait, the
for
Merte's actually gonna
tournament
get
here.
past?
And Demuerte up into 4th, looking
It's
to
what
get
the
these
Kha'Zix is
placements
saying,
to
but
fend this off. The
wait.
saving grace is that Kha'Zix only have 1 point so far in eliminations.
They would love to pick up those. Doran
They're just gonna
again,
get farmed.
aggressive maneuver over towards Demuerte. Just Corker left remaining. He's done so much this tournament. Redox
No.
reveals the position. He gets knocked and flushed. Terrible news. The nade comes in. Up to 13 elims now. 2 players left remaining. It's Kapahala and Doran. Some of the best players over on this team. Look to finish this one out, but it's a 2v4.
One
An
knock.
initial knock comes through from Doran. The Grenadier pulls out the nade. He's
Doran has been
before. Can he
carrying,
do it
well not
again?
carrying,
For
but he's been
Doran,
putting up
it
some
is
like
all now.
pop-up
It
performance
needs
when
to
it
all be
matters
thrown
for
into the
Nexus for
middle.
the whole year.
Kitchen sink and
Like,
all.
in the
And an
last
aid over the
EUC, he
top
was
finds
MVP.
Reflect. Kazakh team looking to chase.
This time,
14
8 kills
eliminations
already
for Nexus.
in the
Demuerte
last game.
finish with 7 points on the match though, Blank, and that will put them up at 142 points. Demuerte looking to try and hold that line. Nexus started on 116. They need a massive game here. And it's a tall order, but they've started well. 3 teams remain, and 2 of them can take this all away from Demuerte in
Who's
the
your
blink of an
favorite
eye.
team in this event?
8 eliminations so far. For an absolute godly
I don't really
player
watch
like
EU that
Doran.
much, but
He
it's
wraps round, tries to get some
honestly
information,
it's
but
Mad
they know
Bulls,
that
to be
Tenchik
honest.
has to get off this hillside eventually. With the way the circle goes in, they're going to wait for it. They wonder how many more smokes they have remaining. One goes down to deny the sightline.
Major Pride trying to roll on forwards with their last player. A thorn in the side of this fight, but seemingly nothing more. Potential to make a lot of trouble, though, for Nexus. You could see the suppression that Nomi has on this angle, Blank.
Smokes are so important there for Nexus, and it's only a matter of time before they start to disappear. But it's a question of which team does Nomi cause the most problems for here?
Who does he strike onto first? Kapahala may be at risk here with Nomi on the angle. The smoke rebloomed, and that is very important, like you were saying, Blank. These smokes, so crucial to control the terrain.
And this all kind of coerces Nomi into maybe peeking over towards Kazakh team. Blue
I don't think Nexus
consistently
can
pushes
win the game.
Kapahala
No.
and
They
Doran
need to
up
take the
this
bridge
hill.
and push Kha'Zix, but that's close to
don't
like
know,
running
Blank,
up in the
if-
open.
That's gorgeous from Zashipa.
Well, that takes care of Nomi. I don't know if there are enough points left in the lobby for Kazakh team
I
to
feel like
overtake
Nexus
here.
should have pushed earlier.
needed to
They
profit
know
9
like
points over
Kha'Zix is,
Demuerte.
well, they might not know because big info.
And right now there's 7 points in the Demuerte
Yeah,
bank.
this is like impossible now. It's too
They
late.
need to get 16 on the match.
If they knew
Nexus have a
Kha'Zix
better
was wasting
chance
their
here.
time on a
Doran
solo,
goes
they should
low.
push
If they take this
earlier.
home, I think they're in. They are fighting for their spot in PMGC against 3 players from Kazakh.
Nah, Nexus is
Kapahala
dead.
also eats a nade, and the
There's no
health
shot.
bars just look
There's
too
no way.
strong. Nexus falling, waning, but Doran steps forwards. His last shot at glory, his last chance to make it work, and it will be the
No.
challenge that is just too much to make. Kazakh take it down, but have they done enough? I don't know. Next Ruya, however, through it all, maintain consistency time and time again. The Turkish team to take the tournament at the top. Kazakh win the match, but next Ruya win the war. What
An
a finish.
unbelievable win from Next Ruya. It has been just so silly throughout this entire tournament in terms of the amount of points that they've accrued, how consistently they've been in towards these end games. They let some of the other lads have a bit of fun in this last match, and it has definitely
Once they show the scores,
changed up
I'm
the
gonna
way
dip.
these leaderboards
I
are
just
looking
want
at
to
the
see
end of
who
the day.
qualifies
And I'm not
into
even
our
gonna
group.
begin to guess. I can't wait to see
Come
what the
on.
guys can't wait to see what the guys on the desk have to say about it. But Nexus,
They
what
need
a
to
run
show the
towards
scores.
the
Hurry
end.
up.
I just wonder if the roller coaster went high enough.
They gave it everything. Nexus tried throughout it all, throwing everything at the wall. It looked like maybe right at the end they had a chance, but Kazakh team as well. They needed
What place
just
do you
a little
think
bit
he
more
will
on
get
that
in
match to be able to find that bubble
PMGC?
spot. It is so
Like
close, Blank,
IGL
on that bubble spot to see who gets the
positions?
PMGC points necessary to get over to that league stage. It is so down to the wire. S2G go down early. They
I don't have any realistic
are out of the running.
expectations.
Ozrooks fall flat.
My
From EU will
goal,
take that
at
last
least
spot,
for
will
our
head over
group,
the
is
desk
to get top 3
celebrate the next
and
Korea
qualify
chicken dinner,
directly
the
to
top of the
finals.
tables.
But my
We know what we have
worst
to say to
case
that for
worst,
next Korea.
we should at least make it to the last chance group. We should at least make it to last chance. Which means we need to get top 11 in our group. And then top 16 out of 24 in survival stage.
Oh.
That shouldn't be a
Didn't this
problem.
happen with you
Don't point
guys?
at your face, okay?
Didn't this happen with you
Missed it.
guys?
I did. Look, it did. It didn't work.
Was it the same ones? Because it happened in America, no?
It did happen.
You'll see.
You know what?
Yeah.
Some of us, okay, it can be a problem that you two have.
That's a 50% work rate.
Anyway,
These.
next Roya, yeah.
Hey, next
man.
year, congratulations.
A victory they 100% deserve. They looked unstoppable. Kalaris, you're talking about the rotations have been on point. Everyone is performing.
You got
Why me?
Coney the power in your group, just
Well
check
done,
it.
Max. You
Damn.
said all this.
What's your source, bro?
Great job.
That was my segment.
Show me the source. Link me up.
Shall we?
I'm just so happy that you. I don't know why. I'm just so happy you guys didn't work.
You put confetti in my mouth. That was cool.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Wait,
this
so
was-
since you
this
have
was fun,
scores,
honestly. Like,
did
they are a
Nexus
CCT. This is a
qualify?
team that we saw
Or, I mean, no,
we
did
think
the
has a
Mercy
chance to get
qualify
to
or
the grand
Nexus
finals
passed
for
them?
sure.
I mean, honestly, they've been a pleasure to watch, right? Throughout all of the days.
And who's gonna qualify
considering
from Turkey?
Especially the last 2
I'm so
days.
confused,
The
like-
circles that have been thrown at them have been
Y'all got
treacherous, have
this.
been
Nasser, Nick, my favorite
traps
team.
left,
Thank you.
right, and center, trying to rotate to these locations. And next year, every single time, be it edge, they've won out the fight. Be it a central position, they've won out the fights. They have looked excellent here in this tournament. They've looked very, very spectacular.
Even in games where it seems like 100% they're going to take the win, you don't see any mistakes.
Oh,
They
okay,
just
the
play
Murte
it by the
qualified.
book. Especially that win early on Crash site, right? On the plane Crash
Major
site.
Pride,
They
the
do
Murte,
no mistakes
Mount
taking the fight
Lease
towards
Esports
Ozrox and just win
qualified.
it in such a dominant fashion.
BRA
Zeros
qualified.
has been looking amazing. Docker Machine too.
What?
2 MVP
I'm
contenders
so
throughout the
confused.
entirety of this tournament. I'm stoked to see how things are going to wrap up for them in PMGC, because this is a team with this kind of playstyle, and as you said, with a consistency with these kind of circles that have been thrown their way, chances are they could be a top contender in this year's PMGC, and I cannot wait to see how that story is going to unfold.
My boy Frozen. I wasn't MVP.
He did it.
Wasn't
He
top
did it.
eliminations, but his team won. So the support he was offered his team worked out flawlessly.
It's interesting because there are teams that do thrive in the chaos, in Battle Royale. There are teams that are able to rise to the occasion when you have to adapt to circles like this, that are just able to surpass all the other adaptations going on from some of the teams. I don't necessarily think that is Nextruia. Thank you, that's lovely. I think that they are able to, yes, thrive in the chaos, but they're able to do it in normal games as well. So they're not like this one-trick pony of like, oh, we're hoping that everybody else has problems and then we'll be able to be
Nextruia going to be
opportunistic
hard
on
to
that.
beat.
No, they're still able to win the normal games, so they are.
To be honest,
I
like,
think that you could compare it to a
I
Vampire
know I
Esports in the
barely
sense that
watch
you
them,
throw anything
but
their way, they can make it work in
I
some
don't
way, shape,
even
or form. It's
see
just
it,
that
how
good
they're any
of a level of
special.
play we've witnessed this tournament for next
It's
Korea.
not like
So,
they're a
yeah,
team
excited
like,
to
you
see. I
know,
think that them and
maybe
Vampire are
Alpha
gonna be
7
two
that would just
interesting
like
teams to follow in
surprise
PMGC.
me with their fighting
100%.
tactics.
But it's time to obviously move on from
Where
them
you know
for
a team
now.
like Weibo that
We
would
see what
surprise me
other
with
teams are gonna
rotations. They're
make it
just a
in the
very
PMGC.
average yet
They've come
consistent.
very close towards the end.
team.
Nexus, 9th
Nexus
place
failed.
at 136, surpassing S2G. But we're not seeing Kazakh here.
I get the impression that they might
Bruh,
not have done it.
Regnum
I
Karya
think
being on
by
top
a
5
very
in
small
every
margin,
tournament this year
Jason.
until this.
That's going to hurt.
If my
for Kazakh.
calculations were
sucks.
correct.
Yeah. The thing is, you want to go for the elims.
Oh, it was 2 points.
Kazakh
I thought
team
it was
2
1
points
point
off.
that they missed it
Well,
out by, but it's 2
But
points
Coney
here.
the power in our
Not
group.
able to
Okay.
surpass Muerte.
But we got to mention
The Murder is 5th.
Kazakh. I mean,
Alright.
James, you were talking about perfectly. If you're in these situations and you need a bunch of points to win, what do? You look for eliminations. You chase things down like we
Yes.
saw Ozrox do. What did Kazakh do?
Kazakh
They
team
sat in the
could have
compound until
qualified instead
some
of the
of the
Murder
final
if they
zones.
played properly.
Yeah, so I mean,
should have
you
got a
saw
lot more
some of the
kills
teams, right,
from their
going
spot
out, just
than,
going crazy,
you know,
hunting
this
for
one.
as many eliminations as possible. We saw it in the north to try and do that because that's what when it gets to the final game, and that's what you need. You need
That sucks
to
though, 2
hunt.
points
You
away
need to
from
go for it.
PMGC.
Kazakh,
Ouch.
yeah, okay, you get the win, but you're
Ouch, bro.
expecting the points to come to you.
Ouch.
Sometimes that just doesn't work. Sometimes it's then out of your hands if you're going to be able to make it happen, and it's not to be here for Kazakh.
Well, not for them. However, for teams like Demorte, Konina Power, yes, they are technically 6th and 7th right now, but because Nextria and Mad Bulls are already qualified for PMGC, 6th and 7th place qualifies as well. Konina Power, Max, the team who survived Titan the 1v2 to get them even into this event. And now they're in PMGC.
Thanks to Becca. Like, Becca did not only allow the team to get that 1v2 clutch and qualify above Titan, he's had some insane moments this tournament. He was an MVP contender even throughout today, actually, after their great performance over on Sanhok on that K finish. So the fact that they've qualified, really, really impressed. I think they might be in a tough group, actually looking at the distribution of how things are going to go. But I also want to touch on the team just above them here, Jason. Malise. I did not expect them to win Turkey. I did not expect them to make it into PMGC. I think they might be in a tough group, actually looking at the distribution of how things are going to go. But I also want to touch on the team just above.
Okay. Oh well, my stream is lagging. Time to dip.
They want to be, which is actually a pretty good approach. So I'm stoked with how they've, it seems to adapt to this lobby very quickly, which is a good sign of things to come for PMGC.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.
I asked you day one here, Clarissa, do they deserve